athletics, swimming, boxing.
Trying to get away from danger, trying to find some sanctuary somewhere in the ring.
Formula One. Golf, rugby league.
Luke Gale tries this time. Luke Gale!
Rugby union, tennis, football.
Wigan with a cross from the left. Will Grigg! Goal! It's Will Grigg to put Wigan 1-0 up in the FA Cup.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings.
More live sport, pure live sport.
You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra.
I'm Jonathan Agnew. Welcome to Test Match Special for the fourth day of the opening test. We've got lots of live build-up from Lords at 10:30. But first, let's hear the highlights of what was a roller coaster of a day's play yesterday. 351 for 8. In goes Broad. Abbas on strike. His early bowls. Oh, he stepped away and flogged that over mid-on for 4. Now that's more like it. No point blocking around Anderton, no ball. Broad paws at the ground with his boot. That's more like a number 11. Bit of a loosener from Broad. Step away and give it a swipe. That's what we like to see. There's nothing particularly elegant about it, hasten to add, but a bit of humour, a bit of innovation. 357 for 8. Amir on strike. Broad's on his way, and he bowls very full. Oh, that's a stately shot. And he's just hit Stuart Broad over his head for 4. I don't think Stuart will like that very much. Ball bounced twice, and now Joe Root's got to come and find it. This is below us, Joe. Here you are, picking up. Well, that was a good shot. Well, that wasn't a slog.
2 bounces. Over the rope. That's the way to play now. Come on, Ahmed.
Really,
you've got to play a few shots. You might as well get a few or get the ball in hand.
Oh, terrific shot. There's Wood bowling. Oh, that's a short ball. He's hit something. Bairstow takes the catch, and whatever he hit has brought about his downfall. It's either glove or bat or handle, something like that. And Bairstow has taken the catch, which, as Mohammad Amir confirms by walking off, is the end of Pakistan's innings. So England got there in the end. 363 all out. It came off, a little tip of glove. And that's a good catch by Bairstow, because he's going the wrong way. He's going down the leg side. And then had to change direction. And with an outstretched right hand, he took the catch. That means that Pakistan are 363 all out. And so they lead by 179, which, Michael Vaughan, is not to be sniffed at.
No, they've played great, haven't they, Pakistan? Huge amount of discipline, skill levels, patience, and some flamboyant strokes along the way. They've really made it difficult for the England bowlers. England bowled okay at times, poorly at other times. The fielding, you have to say, has been, well, if you were giving them a mark, probably E. Not been at anywhere near the standard that they would have expected. Now it's all about the batsmen. Can they come out and just show some discipline? The Pakistan seamers, because of the style of bowlers that they are, they're a little bit skiddier. And we saw in the first innings that their lengths were spot on, and they will get some movement. They do. They always tend to get just a hint of movement. So it's not going to be easy for the England batting unit, and in particular Stoneman, who's under a huge amount of pressure.
Well, I mean, Amir's in once more, and finally Cook lays a bat on it, pushes his short ball out into the offside in front of square. They'll come through for a single. England are off the mark. Cook is off the mark. The deficit now a mere 178. Mohammad Abbas into Cook again. Oh, that's not in the pass. I suppose the finger goes up. Cook is walking off. He's not even considering referring it, and England have lost Cook for a single. 1 for 1, an absolutely diabolical start, exactly the start they did not want. Good bit of bowling from Abbas, tailing back into the left-hander. He committed firmly onto the front foot, and it's thudded into his pad. Oh, it's hit him in front of middle. That is as plumb as it gets, isn't it, Jeffrey?
Oh, that's how. Look, you can't call that a bad shot. All right, you've got to cut it out, but that's not a bad shot. That's a good ball. If anything, can I talk about how he could have done it better as a constructive? Maybe he got his foot a little bit too far over to offside. People who know about batting and cricket, they'll know what I mean. He just got a little bit too far over, and then you can't quite get your bat to the ball. But I'm being, it's tiny things. I'm
attacking the stumps, wasn't he, Mohammad Abbas?
Yeah, I'm trying to just explain to you. I'm not being critical. That's a good ball to any opening batsman when you first start. I always say we're vulnerable. And if you bowl on a length, fairly full, new ball, we've got it all to do. We're to judge about line and length and play it, and we've got to get our feet moving, and we get caught out. Not mistakes so much as we just get caught out before we get in, we're out. And that was a perfect example of a bowler pitching it up straight, on a length, just came back a little. His foot's just a touch too much offside, tiny touch. And I saw his wife this morning when I was coming in, you know, getting searched and everything on my pass, and I saw her, she's lovely with the kids. She said, Jeffrey, I said, hello. I said, he played well, good. She said, yeah, he did all right. I said, no, he did better than all right. He played really, really well first innings. She said, thank you. Yeah, she's come and he's got out. But look, if he plays like he did first innings, he'll not always get out like that. He'll get runs. He'll get a lot more runs than he has done for the last year.
This is Ashraf going into bowl outside the off stump, and that's chopped away by Root down towards the third man boundary for 4. It was wide. There's not been much on offer from these Pakistan bowlers, but there was there. Short and wide. Root didn't hit it cleanly, but he got enough bat on it. He found the gap as well down to third man.
Yeah, that'll make you feel a lot better. Short and wide, put away easy.
That was the first boundary off the bat in the innings.
Yeah.
And we are in the
13th over.
Yeah, well, there we are.
There you go.
This underlines the point.
Yeah. Yeah, no freebies, but that was one.
All sorts of things you can do at this ground, Tuffers, as well.
Yeah.
Watch the cricket. There's a
lovely champagne tent.
Well, there's that. There's that. Yeah. Probably something that catches your eye, or taste buds. One thing you can do is you can go down. You can take a photograph of you to see how closely you resemble a past or present England cricketer. They give you a percentage of facial recognition match. Yeah.
Okay.
So I had that done this morning.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So who do I look like most of past and present England cricketers?
Not sure.
Admittedly, it's only 26%. The match came up as 26%.
Can't really.
Don't say Jeffrey.
No, I won't.
Simon Hughes got Jeffrey.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh dear. Got to be disappointed with that. I wouldn't know. Alistair Cook. Good-looking chap.
Well, that's very kind of you. That's very kind of you, Tuffers.
Yeah.
Well, you're sort of close in a way, left-handed opener.
Oh, a little bit of Andrew Strauss.
Well, there we go. Andrew Strauss, yeah. 26%.
Really?
A match with Andrew Strauss.
Oh,
and then in second place,
yes,
Derek Underwood.
Derek.
10%.
Really?
Yeah.
Crikey. Good or cool. What a perfect all-rounder that would be.
Yeah. It was quite interesting. There was one chap went down there who was a bit surprised to be matched up most with Chris Jordan.
Who's the other one there? Oh, those
no, some people get 4.
Oh.
But I only got 2.
Oh, well, I might have a go at that at lunchtime.
Yeah. Well, they'll probably come up as you, Tuffers, though, because you're a past cricketer. So it might come up 100% Tuffers.
Yeah. Well,
and 0% anyone else.
Yes, of course. Yes. Now that might be a bit silly. Yes, that was a bit like Merv Hughes coming third in the Merv Hughes lookalike competition. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, perhaps that's not a good idea. Didn't think of that.
Right, here's Hassan Ali from the nursery end. We only employ the best, the best brains in this commentary box. Forward goes Stoneman into the offside.
You could take that out of the equation, I'm sure.
Well, you could say to them, take me out of your database,
yes.
Then, who do I most look like next?
Right. Oh, dear.
Little quicker that time on, he's bowled him! The off stump is knocked back, Shadab gets the wicket, the youngster. Mark Stoneman out for just 9. It's been quite a pained innings for him. 4 in the first innings, 9 in the second. Is that the last we'll see of Mark Stoneman in an England Test shirt?
Ooh, he missed the length completely. He went back on the delivery, which was a lot fuller. The ball kept a little low, fair enough, but he should have gone onto the front foot to play that. And the ball spun sharply, came into him and took the off stump. Big wicket, massive wicket just before lunch.
And England are still 148 behind as Stoneman's out for 9. They are 31 for 2.
Shadab bowls again. Back into his crease goes Root. Plays that beautifully through down to the third man region. That's a glorious shot, actually. It's going to make it all the way to the boundary. Very slowly thuds in. Forces the fielder to keep running. But that was magnificently played. He just went right back into his crease and found that angle. Maybe that will kick-start it. The 50 comes up for England. 53 for 2. 33 of those to Joe Root. So I say it's the perfect day to get back into form. The sun is shining, the pitch is fine. There's ages to bat. There's no pressure on you to score quickly. You can just stay there for the rest of the day.
Little quicker from Shadab. Oh, and he's got it through. Little dab. Very, very fine now. Past Sarfraz, running away to this boundary in front of us below the media centre for 4. And Joe Root moves on to 45. 71 for 2 in England. Wouldn't mind seeing this delivery again.
Might have been the googly. Yeah, on the top spinner, just sort of did Joe Root for length a bit, got an under edge and hit it under Sarfraz. A little bit fortuitous there. Just talking about Joe Root, you can just start seeing in his body language, can't you, that he's sort of getting that rhythm and his feet movements. Even the way he's running between the wickets, it's just looking more confident. He sort of like feels that he's involved in a partnership now, and Milan's going to stay with him. All good signs.
It is. He's on strike now. 46. Amir in. And Root, it's angled and racing away down to the boundary through third man for 4. It brings up the 50. It was through the gap between the slip cordon and the gully. But warm applause for Joe Root, and he does bring up a half century in this first test of the summer at Lord's. Rather muted raise of the bat to the crowd, because England are behind in this game. They still trail by 103, but that is the first 50 of this test match summer to Joe Root.
Played it down, I suppose. I mean, it might not have carried and sort of angled. I'll just about give him that one, but I thought I'd commentator cursed him there. But that was a wave at the dressing room of still a lot of work to be done. Nagas afternoon, things looking a little bit rosier for England.
Well, they are. There's just bounces on even, isn't it? I mean, if they can get a lead, 120, 130, I mean, you just don't know. There's a long way to go, but there is a lot of uneven bounce out there. I've been told I've got to get some personality into my cooking, by the way. Just so you know, top line,
What's that? Tell a few jokes while you're frying the bacon.
I think to be honest with you, I don't know. I'll have to go back for lesson 2 to find out what he means. 91 for 2. I was saying, you met Tommy Banks there, his fellow Yorkshireman, Jeffrey, not far from you. He told me to get some of my personality into my cooking. I just wonder what personality of yours ought to go into cooking.
Brilliant.
What would you put it, are you?
Absolutely. I sent for Deborah, my housekeeper.
Right, well,
everybody should have a Deborah. She's brilliant.
You don't cook anything?
Nothing.
Nothing at all?
That's not true. I do rice pudding.
Rice pudding?
Yeah.
Out of a tin?
Well, Marks and Spencer's is brilliant. Just put it in the tin and warm it up. It's absolutely wonderful. Marks and Spencer's rice pudding.
Other rice puddings are available. If you were to cook, I mean, the listener might get involved here, perhaps. If something, I mean, I don't understand what he meant by introducing some personality into my cooking. I haven't got that yet. I can have a little conversation with him. But I'm just thinking, here is somebody sitting next to me who I think I would have more of an idea of what personality you might introduce into food, Jeffrey. I think the listeners help really of what there is about you that should be introduced into cooking, and actually part of it that you should totally avoid.
I always thought you needed some personality in your bowling.
Oh, right, that's very kind of you. Did you? You think it's lacking?
Yeah.
I don't know what it means. What does it mean to put personality into it?
It's talking nonsense.
You think?
I'm going to his restaurant. It's not far from me.
I knew you'd go.
Tommy Banks.
Yeah, I knew you'd be going. You'll clear the place.
Yeah, well, I'll be ringing him up. I'll tell him if he's any good.
I told you it'll take you years to get in.
No, it will not. If I don't get in, I'll be tweeting it. He won't want to hear what I have to say.
Well,
I've told him already.
He's a Yorkshireman.
I've told him, Tommy, I'll be coming with my Rachel. I expect to get a table. I'll tell you if you're any good.
Can you imagine, actually, the opportunity that would arise if you had Jeffrey Boycott coming to your restaurant? What he could do to that food. What mystery ingredients he could put in it. Get some revenge for everybody. Oh, what an opportunity that would be, wouldn't it?
I judge a lot of restaurants I've been in. I judge them on the quality of their puddings and sweets, desserts.
Not so much the starter.
And the quality of the toilets.
Oh.
I mean that nicely. I don't think, because
I hope
actually,
Tommy's listening to this.
Very important when people, ladies, gents, go that the toilets are smart, clean, nice, and the desserts and the toilets.
The most important thing about your restaurant, Tom, is that the toilets ought to be good.
And the desserts, I want to know how good. Only have like crepe Suzette that's done fresh and what have you. in top-class restaurants.
Martin on Twitter has actually hit the nail on the head. Rhubarb fool for boycott. See, he nailed it.
There you are. I love it.
Nailed
Rhubarb
it.
fool was
Really
really.
well. Absolutely nailed it in one.
You couldn't wait, could you?
What if someone else to say it rather than me? 91 for 2. And it's edged and caught behind.
Dropped it, has he? Has he caught it? No, he's
out.
caught it.
He's got it. Malan's out. And the screaming that you heard was Mohamed Amir in celebration, running the length of the pitch and beyond to go and congratulate Safraz, who took it very low to his left, which is why Jeffrey thought he might have dropped it. He was behind him. Went quickly, went low.
Good catch.
And Malan is on his way. The second ball after the drinks break. Look how low that's kept again. I mean, it's a miracle, really, that carried, and it's a very good catch.
Very good, Jonathan. That's why I wasn't sure whether he got it in the glove and then dropped it, because he was having to dive very, very low. Very low. It's amazing. I'm always saying about starting again, beginning of a day, after lunch, after tea, after drinks breaks. It's amazing how it works for the bowling side. They've got so much going for them, bowlers. You bowlers, everything's going for you. When we're playing well, we have to stop and have a drink, and then you get us out.
It does break concentration, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
It's just daft. It's daft, but it happens. And we know it happens, and we can't stop it, us batsmen.
91 for 3. Bairstow about to face his second ball. Waits. Amir bowls. Trim. Oh, he bowled him!
Yeah. There you are.
Straight through bat and pad. What an over this is. And it could be an over that wins Pakistan the match today. 91 for 4. And England are 88 runs behind, with Bairstow completely cleaned up. Pushing half forward. I think it must have come back a bit. I'm waiting for the replay of this. It did. I mean, that's a pretty decent ball. Hit the top of off stump.
Yeah, but I said to you, I don't think early on he's very good against left arm across. I've seen him most of his career, his development. Very good player, and also he plays firmly at the ball as a number 6 and number 7. Here he shoved up the order to 5. They believe, selectors and what have you. That's not my belief. But he plays firm at the ball, Jonathan, which means, as you know, you can gate yourself because you're going out there past your flag.
Agreed. Yeah, absolutely. No,
and
I
so,
follow the theory.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You understand it because you bowl. And for me, that's not the best way to play. It is difficult. It's awkward for us right-handers, left arm going across. But at least you don't want to be pushing past your pad and gapping yourself, do you?
Yep.
That's what happened. It's a great delivery, hits the top of stuff, but you're gapping yourself.
Anyway, let's see how Stokes gets on. Amir's on his way, bustling in from the nursery end. He's there now and he bowls, and Stokes works it off his pad. He's going to get 4. Chipping out away down the slope, and that's got the crowd going. That's what they want to see. England fighting back, and Stokes getting a ball that's just off target from Amir, able to turn that away, running down the slope and into the boundary. So he's away anyway. Here comes Shadab bowls, and that's clipped away firmly, and then Stokes is getting more runs here. He's clipped that away through mid-wicket and out to the boundary. So Ben Stokes has come out bristling. He's on 8, and well, that was a bit of a gift as well, to be fair. Very full half volley round about the leg stump, but he's had 2 loose balls so far and he's put them both away.
All this kid has to do is bowl outside of stump on a length into the bowler's foot marks and spin the damn thing one way or the other. One will keep low, one will turn a bit to create problems. Don't bowl bad balls.
Shut up, bowls, and Stokes drives hard. Catch it, they shout, and they do catch it. This could be a fluky one. He's driven it hard into the boots of the fielder, close in the offside. It's gone up in the air, and a fielder rushing across has caught it.
That could be
I
out,
think it was Imam from short leg who took the catch coming up. The umpires are conferring. This could be one of those really unlucky dismissals. It was hit very hard by Stokes. They're bound to review this. They're going to have to. It is hit hard into the boots. There we go. There's the sign. But did it hit the ground at any stage? That's the question. The catch was taken cleanly.
We've got a clean catch review here. Mark, can we start with front foot no ball, please?
So Bruce Oxford having a look.
Fair delivery. Probably spin vision next up.
So fair delivery. We're waiting really to see if the ball bounced on the way into the fielder's boots or not. Because the question is hit very hard.
Looking at spin vision now, gents. Thank you. Okay, it's not a bump ball off the bat. So now we need to see where it's coming into the fielder's foot. That's a great angle.
This will tell us now. This will tell us for sure. Hit hard.
Ball clearly.
Oh, so
the decision will be not out. Stand.
Yeah, it bounced.
Display not out.
It was hit very hard. Went very quickly.
And you can't see that with the naked eye, can you, Jonathan? I mean,
No.
you can't. I mean, there's a bit of booing from the crowd, but who can see that at the pace that he whacks that hard? You can't see whether it just bounces in front of the foot. Very difficult.
Every
to see
team
that.
in the world would have appealed for that.
Yeah.
But the technology was there, the slow motion, the quality of the slow motion to show that it was not out.
That's all we want, is the correct decision.
He's in again, and that is short. Oh, clipped to the air, caught at mid-wicket. Oh, Ben Stokes will not be able to believe it. A short ball, he's clipped it straight to mid-wicket. A good, sharp, two-handed catch, but that is emblematic of England in this Test match. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. 104 for 5, Stokes goes for 9.
You can't blame the pitch for that. Or the bowling, that's just a poor shot, isn't it? Short of a length, and he's hit it straight at short mid-wicket.
Yes.
I mean,
I'll shake your head, but I mean yes.
There's no other way. Look, I try to be kind and nice, but honestly, you cannot blame anything but himself there. That's a poor shot. And I don't care if it was me. I put my hand up sometimes. Look, it's a poor shot.
Yeah.
And you won't win Test matches with poor batting. You can't.
Yeah.
Because you're always behind the 8 ball. You're catching up all the time. And there's teams like Pakistan play on emotion and passion. So once they get ahead, they're up for it, the challenge.
Yeah. As Hassan Ali bowls again, is driven gloriously through the covers for 4 by Root. Overpitched. The Root chant rings out. That's a splendid shot. And a much-needed morale-boosting boundary. 109 for 5, 67 to Root.
Abbas ball to Root, struck on the patch over LBW out. Well, it's that straight ball again. Mohamed Abbas homing in on the stumps, targeting the stumps. Root has reviewed it.
Mark,
perhaps he feels it's a bit high. That was the only thing.
Originally given out.
Yeah, but
start from
how
foot,
big is
thank
that
you.
wicket?
That's a fair delivery.
If that ball is in the stumps, it's been given out, it might be just slipping down, but all it needs is just to clip the stumps. Ball came in sharply, missed the bat. I don't think there is any bat.
Please with ultra edge.
Well, it looks pretty close. I mean, it feels if it's not hitting them flush on, possibly umpire's call.
Standing by, guys, for ultra edge.
Well, this looks perilous for Root.
Here we go.
Is there an edge on that?
Yeah, we've clear daylight between bat and ball, so we can go to ball tracking when ready, please.
Gap between bat and
All right.
ball. Now, this one will decide.
Pitching
Is it
outside,
hitting the
impact is
stumps?
in line. Wickets is hitting.
Yep, it is hitting the
So
stumps.
I'll get you to stay with your original decision. Pistol, stand by. You're on camera now. Yeah, well done, mate. Thanks, mate.
So Root's gone, LBW, and England are 110 for 6. And as Root walks off, you feel that's the end of England's minuscule chances of reversing their fortunes in this match. He's battled it out, the only one to do so in this second innings, but he trudges off. And Abbas, who bowls that very straight line, just came back in a fraction to Root. Clipping the top of leg stump.
Yeah, Mickey Arthur is jumping up and down. He's very happy because he knows the importance of this wicket. This is a massive wicket, and Abbas got the reward of bowling nice and straight. That one was a beautiful delivery, just a nip back, just enough to beat the bat.
110 for 6.
Hassan comes running in, and again out through the covers in the gap for Jos Buttler. Well, this is much better all of a sudden after tea. 3 boundaries in the over. Buttler coming forward, looking strong. And he has been asked to counter-attack at 7, but then he got a couple of deliveries that he was able to drive, and 124 for 6 is now the score.
Third man in now, 28 behind England. Ashraf bowls, best drives in the air, but past cover for 4. Goes up to the grandstand. Well, there was some risk in that as well, but it was wide enough of cover. Probably 3 or 4 yards wide, and difficult to tell from our angle. Off to the boundary for 4, successive 4s for Dominic Bess.
Yep, saw it up there, went for it, committed to the shot, as you say, followed through. Couple of feet wide of extra cover. It was on the up, catchable high.
Yeah, 24 behind. Ashraf bowls short, and Butler gets plenty more of that this time. Down towards fine leg, it's gone for 4. Well, it should have been stopped, but it went away for 4. There was plenty of pace in the stroke. There was an attempted dive. I think it's Mohammed Abbas down there, and he went to his left-hand side. It was one of those Tower Bridge jobs, diving over the top of it. So 4 to Butler. He goes to 37. And it's 162 for 6. England are 17 runs behind.
Brings up the 50 partnership of 105 balls with 6 fours.
Yeah, they've done well. Josh Butler's played nicely. Anything, as you say, there to hit, he's gone after it. Dom Bess starting to look a bit comfortable at the crease as well. Played a nice couple of shots.
Hassan bowls and has driven up through extra cover. That's a good shot from Bess. He's played very well here. He's going to get 4. He's going to go to 29. And then Pakistan will bat again. England lead by 3. A nice cover drive there from 20-year-old Bess, showing what he can do with the bat. 29 not out, and it's 182 for 6, and the crowd cheering, as it means that Pakistan will have to bat again. So England's still a long, long way to go yet before they're out of the woods.
I said last night that England have to bat to at least lunchtime tomorrow, and it doesn't look as if we'll get to that with 6 down, but you never know.
No.
You never know. If you can get somewhere near lunchtime, you'll have something to bowl at. And then pressure on the side batting last. But it's getting there, and it's a very, very good pitch.
Dingo's Shadab and bowls it short and flicks away out through deep mid-wicket. That's a good stroke. And Butler has just been denied his half-century on that occasion. He'll get 2, coming back for the 3rd as the throw comes whistling in. Lovely piece of fielding again out there. And that's Hassan Ali, who's actually bowling at the same time.
I think he might have touched the rope when he dived, so umpires are going to check that. But yeah, good effort though. It's put in everything. He's bowling, so he must have been tired also, but super effort.
It's actually typical of how Pakistan have been today. That might have gone for 4, actually. We're waiting to see, looking at the replay there. It's a big moment for Butler. If it does, there you go. Josh Butler's got 50. Welcome back to the side. He punches Bess's gloves. And there'll be people who'll say, well, it was a bit of a chance to pick this fella. He hasn't played any red ball cricket. But he's been in tremendous form in the IPL. His confidence is sky high, and that's his 7th 50.
He's learned from his mistake from the first inning. He did not play any loose shot. He was very calculative. Strike rate is very good, and he's looking very good.
Here's Shadab bowling, driven by Butler. One of those drill drives that he plays away on the offside towards the cover boundary. There's a fielder out there sweeping, Fakhar Zaman, and that single brings up England's 200. Well, riches. When you consider they were 110 for 6 and facing an innings defeat inside 3 days. Butler and Bess have given England some respectability of sorts here. Butler gets one, he pushes forward, inside edge past the keeper, down towards the fine leg boundary. They went past the off stump. It died in front of Sarfraz. I don't think it was a chance. And it's gone away for 4.
Well, crucial runs. You know, I think that one hit the edge and then onto the pad and went past Sarfraz. It wasn't really too far away from Sarfraz, but these runs are very, very crucial.
And that's the 100 partnership. 210 for 6. And for the first time in the game almost, this Lord's crowd comes alive. England at last giving them something to applaud and cheer.
Yeah, it's been Pakistan's test match so far. 8 sessions been won by them. This is the first session where Pakistan looked a little worried.
Fahim Ashraf is in to Bess, who gets 50. Clips the ball off his pad. Out to deep square leg. A 50 on debut for young Dominic Bess. His teammates are clapping him. He's waving his bat all round to the crowd and to his teammates, which is great to see. All round the crowd, he raises his bat. It's been a superb knock of tremendous character and spirit from this young man. He's only 20 years old. He's the youngest finger spinner to play for England, but he's also only the 4th batsman from England to score a half-century in this match. And he's shown what is possible, where some of his more illustrious peers frankly have not.
Yes.
Well played, Dominic Bess. News, please, Andrew.
93 balls, 7 fours, 146 minutes. He's the 10th England batsman to make a 50 at number 8 on debut. But the highest of those is only 66 not out.
Oh, I was going to ask that question.
Liam Dawson, 66 not out at number 8 on debut.
So 67 would be a record for England if he were to get there.
Here bowls, and that's driven out through extra cover.
Oh.
What a positive way to end the day, if it is to be the end, with a boundary struck through extra cover.
What a shot.
And that's, well, if that is the last little moment of play, then what a lovely piece of play it was. In fact, the bail's being knocked off.
Yeah.
And a bit of a message, maybe, sent out by Dom Bess. We're coming back tomorrow, and we're going to carry on where we've left off today. There's still a long way for England to go, but there's just a smidgen of hope that something remarkable could happen here. Damir bowls, and that's driven out through extra cover.
Oh.
What a positive way to end the day, if it is to be the end, with a boundary struck through extra cover.
What a shot.
The bail's being knocked off, and a bit of a message, maybe, sent out by Dom Bess. We're coming back tomorrow, and we're going to carry on where we've left off today. There's still a long way for England to go, but there's just a smidgen of hope that something remarkable could happen here.
Hello, hello, hello. Good morning and welcome to this, the 4th day of the first NatWest Test match between England and Pakistan. It's a muggy old day today, I tell you. After last night, we had enormous quantities of rain, 50,000 lightning strikes across London last night. But if you're out here on the Lord's outfield, as I am right now, you would have no idea whatsoever. It's bone dry. The conditions are kind of muggy and strange. You fancy it might be quite handy for bowling. Pakistan are going to get a new ball fairly shortly in a couple of overs' time. But as we heard on the highlights there, England have just given themselves probably no more than a smidgen of hope. But a smidgen of hope is considerably more than they had when Ben Stokes was out. And that incredible partnership between Dom Bess and Jos Buttler. We're going to have a look at that in more detail. I'm joined, I'm delighted to say, by Waqar Younis and Michael Vaughan, who will also be joining us shortly. The roller is coming onto the pitch. Waqar, the match situation heavily favours Pakistan. You must be delighted about that.
Yes, it does. Yeah, the morning is sunshine. We have not seen this in the last 3 days, so that might help England here. But yeah, the big thing goes in Pakistan's favour is the new ball. It's due in a couple of overs, and hopefully that'll do the trick for Pakistan.
Michael, the crowds have yet to roll in. Do you think it's a day when they should roll in? Are you expecting this game to last for any length of time today?
Well, they should. I mean, because, you know, what you get generally is entertaining cricket, whether it's talking about great play or disappointing play. So I think it's going to be exciting. I think whatever England can kind of muster, and they can get over 120, that kind of region. You know, Pakistan already are one down. You know, Babar Azam's got a broken arm. I just think we're in for a good day's cricket. You've got to say Pakistan are clear favourites to win the game, but if Buttler can get going this morning, whatever a player like Buttler is at the crease, I would suggest the fans need to get here quick.
Well, look, we will look at the match situation in more detail as we go through this next 25 minutes or so before the start of play. But it was a roller coaster of a day yesterday, and here is our pint-sized review.
In the pass, I suppose the finger goes up. Cook is walking off 1 for 1, an absolute diabolical start.
Oh, and he's bowled in! The off stump is knocked back. Shadab gets the wicket, the youngster. 4 in the first innings, 9 in the second. Is that the last we'll see of Mark Stoneman in an England Test shirt? Oh, it's angled and racing away down to the boundary for 4. Warm applause for Joe Root, a half-century in this first test of the summer at Lordds.
That's edged and caught behind. Halland's out. Very good. Bowled him! There you are. Straight through bat and pad. What an over this is, and it could be an over that wins Pakistan the match.
Oh, drift to the edge, caught in the wicket. Oh, Ben Stokes will not be able to believe it.
That is emblematic of England in this Test match.
Dropping the back over over W8. There's that straight ball again.
Driven up for extra cover. That's a good shot from Bess. And then Pakistan will bat again. England lead by 3.
This is a good pitch. Don't think it's seaming all over the place because it ain't.
In goes Shadab and bowls it short and flicks away out through deep mid wicket. That's a good stroke. And Josh Butler's got 50. Welcome back to the side.
Opportunity. Butler gets one, he pushes forward, inside edge past the keeper. And that's the 100 partnership. Lord's crowd comes alive.
Volume Ashraf is eating to Bess, who gets his 50. 50 on debut for young Dominic Bess. His teammates are clapping him, he's waving his bat round to the crowd and to his teammates.
And the bowls, and that's driven out through extra. What a positive way to end the day.
What a shot.
A bit of a message sent out by Dom Bess. We're coming back tomorrow. There's still a long way for England to go, but there's a smidgen of hope that something remarkable could happen here.
Well. So what you heard there on our Pint Size, which you can watch, by the way, on the BBC Sport app and website. And it's up every day, as well as clips throughout the day. How long that day will be, we do not know. But what we heard there at the end was that more than of a smidgen of hope. What a fantastic partnership that was for the 6th wicket. 125 they put on Dom Bess on debut, don't forget. And Josh Butler already, he's hunting down Dom Bess, potentially the highest score by an England number 8 on debut. 66 he's got to get to equal Liam Dawson. He's, what is he on? He's on 55 now, so he's not far away. Waqar, on a day of basically Pakistani dominance, that last session, you'd have to say, first session that England actually won, a ray of hope for England.
Yeah, that's what you don't want. I mean, when you're in such a control over 2 years or 2.5 days, and you suddenly lose a very, very crucial session, it can change things around. And we saw that last evening. That one session won, and it was a big session. 120 plus runs were scored, and no wicket. So I think that really going to hurt Pakistan. Pakistan, yes, they're still in a pretty good control. They bowled really well, they caught really well, and it was very flat in the afternoon, and I have a feeling that it's going to be very flat this morning also. They're taking a heavy roll now, so that means, that shows that, that wicket will play better in the morning. But the only thing which goes in Pakistan's favor right now is the new ball. If they can run in hard and bowl the same areas what they hit in the first inning, I think they'll fetch up early wickets, and it can finish very, very quickly, because England's tail, when I look at it, it's pretty long.
A feature of that partnership yesterday, of course, for England between Bess and Butler was just the fluency that they had. I mean, was that to a degree because of the oldness of the ball and perhaps the tiring nature of the day for Pakistan?
Yeah, I think you can add all those bits into the equation. I just think they played well. I mean, the pitch is good. I think it's been a tremendous test match wicket, because it's had a little bit in there for the bowlers. There's been a bit of spin yesterday for Shadab Khan, particularly to the left-handers. There's been some good carry as well at times, and what Dominic Bess did and Josh Butler said, right, we'll play straight, we'll wait for the bad balls to arrive. It was hard work to start with, and then the longer that you bat, it does get easier. Now they've got to start again this morning, which is the tricky bit, 2 overs before that second new ball. You would think with this kind of muggy nature that the ball may do a bit. Abbas in particular, I think, is a wonderful, skillful bowler, so he'll get plenty out of the second new ball. If they can just survive or get the momentum with the ball flying to all parts for the first 10 or 15 overs, anything's possible in today's play. But if Pakistan play in the fashion that they've played for 3 days, which has been full of discipline, very together as a unit, they've fielded very, very well, and they stay tight as a team, Pakistan should walk this game. But we've seen and know from Pakistan, the history of Pakistan cricket, and also a very inexperienced Pakistan side, which they are, England have to play on that experience factor over the next few hours. If they can get Pakistan chasing over 130, you still fancy that they'll get there, but England can certainly kind of crack open a few things for the test match going forward to Headingley in a few days' time.
Just quickly on Josh Butler, a lot of concerns about his defensive techniques. He's been playing white ball cricket sort of ad nauseam. I mean, this is his longest innings since 2016. He's played very little red ball cricket, but actually a feature of yesterday's innings was exactly his defensive technique. He's going at around 50 runs per 100 balls. It was a proper test match innings, wasn't it?
Oh, he's a good player. I think you know, you can get stereotyped into a certain box as a cricketer, and I just think Josh Buttler, you look at the way he played, he's got all the time in the world to play. You know, he played straight, he got himself outside the line of off stump with his feet, so he kind of nullified LBW and also saying, right, you're not going to bowl me. So he took away 2 forms of dismissal yesterday afternoon, particularly with the ball getting a bit older and the bowlers into their second and third spell. It's a good tactic to use. You look at the selections this week, you know, Ed Smith, I mean, the cameras were on him all day yesterday, so he's not quite got... The selections haven't been the issue. You know, Dominic Bess has done well, Josh Butler's done very well. You know, it's just been the team. The team hasn't played as one, and that's one of my frustrations with the Test team. When I watch the one-day team, they look very collective. They look like a unit that all know their roles. They're all working in partnerships, whether it's the ball, whether it's the bat, whether it's in the field. You know, for a long time now, the Test match team don't look like they've got that kind of togetherness. And it's not through spirit, it's just they don't seem to have combinations and partnerships that feel, or we feel comfortable watching them. We always think when they're batting, well, it doesn't matter what the conditions are, they're going to be 100 before, and they've got to get over that quickly.
Well, look, we'll come back to an autopsy on England's batting failures shortly, but let's hear from one of England's heroes yesterday. Dom Bess spoke earlier this morning with Eleanor Oldroyd.
Well done on your maiden Test 50. What did it feel like out there with Jos Buttler yesterday?
Yeah, it was pretty special by the end of it. I was really trying to sort of, well, myself and Jos trying to really soak up their pressure and sort of turn it around. Obviously, we've got a good start here and we've done pretty well, but I think it's going to be, again, a massive sort of challenge this morning, especially with that new ball sort of floating around the corner.
2 West Country boys. Did you have some nice chats in the middle? Or did you not have time for such niceties?
Yeah, we did. He was obviously really good, and I think we were sort of egging each other on, which it should be. But it was nice having him out there because you've seen on TV what he can do. So, I mean, sort of having that, knowing that you've got a world-class player down the other end, it does help.
Do you think you surprised a few people? Because effectively you're in the side for your bowling. You didn't get a chance to do a great deal of that, but you know, you have got a first-class 100 to your name.
Yeah, I don't think many people would have seen me, so I think they would have been quite surprised, but sort of within myself, I know what I'm looking to do today. So, I mean, I haven't surprised myself at all because, like I said, I know I can do it. I've been there, I've done it, so I'm a fairly confident bloke as well while I'm out there. So, I mean, hopefully we can really push on and turn it around because I think there's a great opportunity, especially with sort of how everyone's sort of going about it. I think there's a lot of, I was saying I'm a fairly optimistic bloke and there's not many other people floating around. Not within the change room. The change room's very good at the moment, but elsewhere outside the ground.
So did you have a little bit of a sense of, right, we're going to show people here, we're going to prove it's been a difficult 3 days, we're really going to show the guys that we can bat, we can play?
Yeah, show a bit of fight as well, because say we do something, it's going to be challenging. I understand that it's going to be challenging, but there's no point of being down about it and gloomy. You might as well be very optimistic because if something happens, then people will remember it for a long time.
Do you feel confident about today?
I do. If you're not confident now, then you might as well not be here. So I'll be sort of getting in the nets as soon as I can and sort of trying to really get my brain in gear and switch on. Yeah.
Great stuff. Sorry about Chiefs, by the way.
Yeah, I know, absolutely gutted about that. I know.
At least you missed it by being out in the middle.
I know, but when I came back, that was the first thing I asked, and unfortunately, yeah, they were the losers.
But you weren't, so well done.
Thank you very much.
Nice
Cheers.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
Well done. Great to see.
That was Dom Bess there talking about his beloved Exeter Chiefs who lost in the final yesterday to Saracens. But let's hear from the other half of the B team. Jos Buttler told Eleanor he was really impressed with Dom Bess.
He's a confident boy and I think he knows his game pretty well, so I think that helps. You know, he's got a lot of talent with the bat. You know, I'm not sure how many people knew it before the match, but they certainly know now. And we just tried to build a partnership. You know, I think in the dressing room we've talked a lot about partnerships and how we can extend them and make them into really big ones. And that was really all our focus was, to just try and keep extending a partnership and trying to get Pakistan off their lengths.
But with the pressure on you at T, 111 for 6, some failures before that point, were you worried? Was there any kind of concern in your minds, or were you confident that you could do it?
Oh no, worrying's not going to help, so we tried not to do that. And of course, it was a tricky situation to be in. I'm sure we want to obviously be in better situations as a side, but we showed a bit of character and some skill to build a partnership, and we have to keep doing that and showing that throughout the match.
You've obviously scored lots of runs in white ball cricket recently. Did you have to fight any of your natural instincts and think this is a test match going on?
Not really, actually. I just had this sort of same mentality, really. I mean, just playing the situation. I said before the game, whether it's white, red or pink, and just trying to play the same in my head. So just looking to try and score runs, get off strike, get down the other end and try and stay there and keep saying it, but build a partnership.
We go into day 4 and the lead is there, but can you push on? Is there a feeling now that maybe you have a chance? You've given yourselves a chance?
Yeah, we hope so. However many we get is going to have to be enough. But of course, Pakistan have played really well for 3 days. They'll come back refreshed after a good night's sleep and with a new ball just round the corner. So it's going to be a big morning session.
It certainly is going to be a big morning session. That's if we have a big morning session. Now, last night, there were extraordinary quantities of rain lashing down all over London. I said earlier, 50,000 lightning strikes. It seems highly unlikely that there'd be enough rain to save England, but it might certainly change the nature of the day and the timings of the day when we might get play. Is it going to be an on and off day? Is it going to be, are we just going to go all the way through? Will this finish by lunch? Who knows? But a man who may be able to tell us is Darren Bett at the Weather Centre. Hello, Darren.
Hello, Dan. Well, the plan came together nicely yesterday. It's rather more difficult today, not just for England's batsmen, but for us forecasters as well. There's still the chance of some showers today, and there's a bit of cloud that's been developing, and there are 1 or 2 showers arriving to the west of London. So we could catch a shower as early as actually this morning's session. But I fancy for a lot of the day it'll be dry, and there'll be some long spells of sunshine as well. The easterly wind, not as strong as it was yesterday. Temperatures light yesterday, up to around 26 degrees, so it's going to be pretty warm out there. And Monday's probably going to be dry too, some sunny spells around, chance of some showers perhaps towards tea time, but again another warm and humid day with temperatures 26 degrees or so. But of course we've got to get through today first of all.
Well, we do have to get through today. Thanks ever so much, Darren. I mean, we're presuming, unless something extraordinary happens, and it could yet happen, Bess and Buttler could extend this game into tomorrow, but you would feel that the chances are this game is going to end today, in no small part because of the excellence of Pakistan yesterday. And Waqar, a lot of people in England would have been sort of surprised by this, and they're looking at blaming England, looking at the failures of England. We can spend a little too long on that and not really applaud the brilliance of Pakistan's bowling and the durability of their batting. It's been an all-round superb performance, no dropped catches. They've been immaculate in every way.
Yeah, let me tell you first of all that, if this game goes tomorrow, we're done. We're not going to win this game, that's for sure, because England will be in a very good position to win that one. But yeah, this, credit should be given to the Pakistani young lot. I mean, this is 7 of them have never played here at Lord's, and you know how it feels when you come and play here. It's very intimidating. It's a lot of pressure when you're playing, in front of 25,000 people. It's a massive pressure, and I think these boys handled it beautifully. Maybe you can say that England was a little complacent, thinking that this is a young team. We can control them. It not really matter that we are well prepared or not, we have played any cricket or not. That's what probably is a couple of mistakes they've made of playing certain players which were not fully there, fully prepared. But yeah, Pakistani bowlers and batters and what really surprised me or makes me really smile and excites me is the fielding bit. I think we caught really well, and that makes a massive difference.
Well, it has been. It's been a sort of 10 out of 10 performance, you've got to say, from Pakistan. You only have to look at the fact they've got 360 on a top score of 69. Everybody's got in, and that contrasts quite significantly with England, where in the first innings, certainly, there was only one standout batsman, wasn't there? In the second, it's been Root, and then this fight back from Bess and Buttler, but it's been an all-round team performance from Pakistan. So let's hear from the Pakistan camp. Despite the England fight back, Asad Shafiq says he's still backing the Pakistan bowlers today.
Yes, they bowl really well, and especially in this condition, they are not familiar with these conditions, but they bowl exceptionally well in first inning, now in second innings, and we are hoping when we get the new ball, we come back really well.
The new ball not far away, so what's the aim, to be all over by lunchtime?
Look, like it's difficult to say because they are batting really well, but our new bowlers Amir and Abbas, they bowled really well with the new ball, especially with the new ball, and we are hoping that they will get some early wickets tomorrow morning as well.
Well, there you have it. Asad Shafiq very confident, as he should be, you would think. Pakistan have got themselves into an extremely strong position, not yet impregnable, and that's the hope that drives England fans on, certainly. But I have the analyst Simon Hughes with us today, as he will be during the tests, and he's going to talk to us about Pakistan's seam bowling and basically how they've used the slope here at Lord's.
Yeah, it's an art. Good morning, everyone. It's an art using the slope in particular at Lord's, which is a very unusual idiosyncrasy of this particular ground. Obviously, you hear about it a lot, 8 foot 8 inches, and the tradition has always been for the person who moves the ball away from the right-hander to bowl from the nursery end and use the slope to move the ball away from the right-hander, like many of the sort of great fast bowlers have bowled from the nursery end, who swing it, and then from the pavilion end, where the ball is angling in towards the right-handed batsman, you imagine that it would be bowlers who like to move the ball in, who enhance their ability by using the slope to move it into the right-handers from the pavilion end. But actually, what the Pakistanis have done well, and actually other teams as well in the last few years, is used the bowler to counter the slope, to move it against the slope. Stuart Broad does it well too from the nursery end, but Mohammad Abbas, for instance, is a very traditional seam type bowler, and he's got two deliveries. He's basically got an in-swinger to the right-hander and one that just holds its line, which he'll call the scrambled seam delivery, or the wobble seam delivery is a sort of trendy term for it. And you'd think an in-swing bowler would prefer the pavilion end to swing it in down the slope, but he's using the nursery end to swing it against the slope. So what he did very well to, say, Mark Stoneman, was he used his natural swing to curve it away from the left-hander, in other words, against the slope from the nursery end, and then he used the wobble seam to just hit the seam and nip it back through the gate. So in the first innings he bowled Mark Stoneman through the gate, beautiful delivery, went down the slope, but that was a wobble seam delivery, and of course the batsman has no idea which way it's going to go when it lands on the seam, and the bowler probably doesn't know either. But what you find is that in-swing bowlers like Mohammad Abbas, when they bowl what's called a wobble seam delivery, or they hit the seam, it tends to move the other way. It's sort of a leg cutter, if you like. So he's got two key wickets with that. One was Mark Stoneman in the first innings, and one was Alistair Cook in the second innings. I mean, I don't think Cook could have played that ball any better, because he bowled a couple that have gone across him up the slope, and then he just used the slope to nip one back into his pad. He played well forward, LBW, perfect delivery. And it's a very simple art, actually. It's something that the Pakistanis have pioneered. The first guy to do it, really, was Mohammad Asif, who, of course, played in that famous Test match here 2010 when the no-balling saga sort of began. But he was a very good wobble seam bowler who, I got a ball here, and basically, when you bowl seam up, you kind of keep your fingers quite tight to the seam and really kind of grip the seam quite tightly as well, grip the ball tightly. But then the wobble seam, you just your fingers a bit and hold the ball a bit more loosely and let go of it keep your wrist a bit more floppy, and the ball then wobbles down the pitch and lands on the edge of the seam, and that's what Mohammad Abbas in particular has done very well.
So lessons there for England. I mean, we were looking at Jimmy Anderson's record from the pavilion end and the nursery end, and he obviously favours bowling from the pavilion end because he's bowled 75% of his overs here from there, but his actual average from the nursery end was considerably better. I mean, I think it's now down to about 15.8 as opposed to from the pavilion end, which would now be up to about 26. Is there a lesson there for England? Because he is predominantly taking that ball away, and yet he wants to bowl from the pavilion end more often than not. Might he consider a more regular break with his own tradition, so to speak?
Yeah, I think the reason why he tends to get more wickets from the nursery end is he pitches it a bit fuller. And that's just a natural thing, maybe because he sees the ball naturally shaping away on the slope, using the slope to move away from the right-handers. He's inclined to pitch it up a bit more. It sort of helps his outswing. At the pavilion end, the slope is countering his outswing. So I think there's a natural inclination to just bowl fractionally short of a length, and that's where he bowls so many excellent deliveries from the pavilion end, but they don't actually take wickets because he hasn't quite got the length full enough. It's very it sounds harsh to criticise England's greatest ever seam bowler, and you know he's a magician with the ball, but you know his natural length is actually a little bit too short to take wickets from the pavilion end. At the nursery end, he does look to pitch it up. He deliberately makes himself pitch it a bit fuller, and maybe that's why he's more successful.
Can you talk to us a little bit also about the run-up? Because a lot of bowlers have said to us, we talked to a few there about this, that they like to bowl from the pavilion end. Waqar Younis told us this, because they feel that the slope's actually helping their approach to the wicket.
Yes.
So they're thinking more about the run-up there, obviously, than they are about how the ball will deviate and how it will work with the slope. Because presumably, when a ball hits a pitch, there's very little bit of the ball. The slope's 8 foot 8, did you say, from top to bottom? But that's from one side to the other. It's 150 metres.
It is a long way, but I mean, each pitch is sort of, I think it's about a sort of 4-inch slope on it.
Right.
So, you know, there is a degree of, I mean, if you roll the ball down it from one end to the other, it will veer into or down the slope. So it does make a difference. The ball definitely behaves differently. I mean, you raise an interesting point, though, Dan, because two things about the run-up at Lord's. One is that you bowling from the pavilion, generally the wind is behind you because that's from the west, and you know 9 times out of 10 the wind is in a westerly direction in England, so you're bowling with the wind from the pavilion end. That means you, as a fast bowler, you just feel the wind behind you, and that's encouraging. The other thing is, and this is a bit more technical, but because of the slope on the actual pitch, when you're bowling from the nursery end, you land at the crease, it does make you feel as if you're falling away to the left slightly, and that stops you from keeping your action upright and can make you push the ball down the leg side. Whereas from the pavilion end, it keeps you upright a bit better because the slope is from left to right, if you can imagine it as the listener, and it just keeps your body tilted more towards to the right side and keeps it upright, whereas from the nursery end it can make you feel as if you're falling away more, which is bad.
Just a quick interjection. The bell has been rung, and it's been rung today by Azhar Mahmood. And for those of you looking for good omens for England, Azhar Mahmood is one of those very rare coves who scored 100 batting on debut at number 8.
Good fact.
So we have Don Bess, of course, still at the wicket. So who knows? Maybe it'll be a day when he'll be inspired by Azhar's bell ringing. Just finally on this slope, I mean, I'm thinking there that Jimmy Anderson, of course, it's not that he does fall away, but with that head that goes down, and maybe, I suppose, that makes him all the more determined to bowl or want to bowl from the pavilion end, because it'll feel that much more like he is slipping into the slope, so to speak.
I think that's a good point. And the other thing is, you know why? I know exactly now why he's not playing white ball cricket anymore, because he's one of those bowlers who does look at the ground as he lets go of the ball. That's fatal when you've got batsmen hitting the ball with the power they have now, hitting it back at you. Remember Luke Fletcher last summer being smacked horribly on the head by a straight drive from Sam Hain, I think it was at Warwickshire. And I don't know if you saw this picture of a bowler in New Zealand who, in a one-day game, is wearing a face mask and a helmet, actually running into bowl. I think that's going to happen possibly more and more in one-day cricket. The likes of Anderson looking down at the ground as he lets go of it, an idiosyncrasy which has never affected his bowling, but it's one of those things, quite a dangerous thing to do. I think he'll start here again from the pavilion end when England actually do come out to field. And he's just, because he can counter the swing, he can swing the ball up against the slope as well as use the slope to bring it back down. It's probably his best end with the new ball, but obviously first England have got to get another 80 runs.
Well, the umpires are coming out and the players the Pakistanis are already in a huddle. So last word from you. You're very experienced here at Lord's. What kind of a total do you think England could defend? And do you think they got the bowling attack to defence, like say, I don't know, 150, 160?
I wish I could be really, really positive. I think England will need at least 100. As the wicket hasn't deteriorated.
100, sorry, is that 100 more?
Yeah. I think the pitch hasn't deteriorated quite as much as I thought it would. And is Dominic Bess going to get the spin that England need to bowl Pakistan out? I doubt it. So I think if England don't get 200 lead, at least they're struggling.
Well, thank you, Simon. The players are now making their way out to the pitch. The ripple of applause from the crowd. It's starting to fill up here. We may have a fabulous day's cricket. Or it may be over in the twinkling of an eye. To tell us more and to take us through the first passage of play, we have Jonathan Agnew and Geoffrey Boycott.
Indeed, thank you very much indeed, everybody down there, for setting everything up so well. Lovely morning, an eventful night by all accounts, and I say by all accounts because I never heard any of it. All these lightning strikes and thunder flashes and all of that sort of thing. I have to be honest, I had a very nice steak, a couple of glasses of red wine and never heard a thing. So, what about you, Jeffrey? Were you up in the night?
Sleep.
Sleeping?
Just sleep.
Yeah.
Go to sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep well,
Back
ready
beside
next
you.
morning. But beside used to be. Definitely used to be.
So I never heard of it. It sounded very dramatic. It's only this morning's reports. Great thing is that Lords is fit and well. No impact of any rain on this. And, well, as they were saying down below, what possibly is in store today? I'm with Simon Hughes, actually, and I'm going to throw in as well the speed of this outfield, which is so fast. The value of runs now here, in a way, has depreciated because you just hit the bat on the ball and it goes for 4. So that again increases, I think, the target that England would have to set. But Pakistan had to score 160 against Ireland, and they made a bit of a shaky start. It does put pressure on. It does put pressure on. And the normative winning a first test and here at Lords and all those sort of things, inexperienced side. Well, that's England's aim anyway, and we're going to have Hassan Ali with a new ball just 2 overs away, bowling the first of the day, and Butler with lots of time just blocks the ball down to mid-on, and there's a round of applause, for which I'm not entirely sure unless something has passed me by. But
well, it didn't get out. It's only relevant today if England make runs. They've got to bat at least till lunch, and they'll probably, if they did bat till lunch, if they were capable of that, they'll make best part of 100 runs, because they'll set attacking fields. The outfield's fast, as you say. You know, they're not going to bowl with a new ball without slips and gullies.
Ali's on his way, and he bowls to Butler, who's squared up a little bit, and then plays the ball back up the pitch for the bowler to field. There's another smattering of applause. There'll be some tired hands later if these two do add lots of runs.
But you and I both know that when you bowlers have had a good sleep and come up next morning and somebody gives you a new conker in your hand, it's sometimes a very different game, isn't it? Most times.
And it's very humid today. It feels like a swinging around ball sort of day today. 235 for 6. Butler's on 66. No runs added so far, and Hassan Ali beats him with one that keeps very low outside the off stump. And Sarfaraz is sitting on his bottom smiling. Well, again, that's something that you add to the equations perhaps the other way. So for all the reasons that we said that England need at least another 110, 120, well, you see balls like that and you think, OK.
Play forward. You see balls like that, you're watching from the dressing room, play forward. It's simple basics.
But if that was straight, it's out. As simple as that.
Well, if he plays forward, he'll have a better chance of hitting it.
Yeah, but that was
if we get a nick on it, anything.
A real grubber. Hassan Ali bowls and Butler's forward now, punching with a bit of bottom hand up to mid-off. Most aggressive stroke of the day so far. 235 for 6. I'm very glad that Martin Bashir ignored me, as most people do, let's be honest, at TS, and I told him to go and put his tickets on eBay because there'd be no play today. He's got 4 tickets. His kids, and actually his face did fall when I said there's no chance of getting them on eBay. Well, here we are. That's the beauty of cricket, and a measure of how well these two played yesterday. Hassan Ali bowls, Butler's forward again, and walking into the stroke, plays down to mid-off, and there's no run. So a full 90 overs today, and the over rate throughout the match has been really poor. But, there's those overs available, plus a half hour if Pakistan are in that sort of situation, or indeed England are in that situation where they can push. And still a day to go, so there's lots and lots of cricket left. And England lead by 56. They've got 4 wickets in hand as Ali bowls, and that's run away off an edge. Down to third man. There is a fielder down here who wheels round and throws the ball in, but there's the first run of the day. So England's lead goes to 57, and it means that Butler has retained the strike. 236 for 6. Their stand goes to 126. More people coming in down there in the mound stand. Good morning to all of you. There's certainly lots of room. I'm not sure what the public transport situation is today, being a bank holiday Sunday, as it were. Maybe that's why there's still lots of empty seats around.
See, something you said there is always interested me. You said there, Butler, he walks into the defensive shot.
Yep.
I know what you mean, and I think everybody out there knows. Sadly, that's not the best way to be playing quality bowlers, is it?
No, it's not.
No.
Which is why I said it.
Correct. I knew. I just thought people out there.
Yeah. You're not
we hope
balanced.
he does well. We hope he but you explain to him.
Well, you're not balanced, and what's the big danger is, of course, that the right leg is coming through, and that is
turning you square on,
brings your
chest
shoulder
on,
around
isn't
it. Yeah. So that's, you want to make one move, and that back foot has got to be still. And as soon as you move
sideways,
that right leg through, you can do it yourself in your mind, can't you?
Yeah.
Round comes that shoulder, back will come through straight, and that is what happens. 2:36 for 6. And we've got Mohamed Abbas bowling outside the off stump. Butler allows that to go creeping through. Oh. So I wonder who's going to take the new ball here, because you'd reckon Mohamed Amir, wouldn't you?
You'd think so.
But he's down there at third man. Oh, he's swinging his arms. So I think our old friend Hassan's only going to have that one over, and then Mohamed Amir from that end. And probably Abbas will continue from here, I'd imagine. But that's going to be clearly a key time.
Fred Truman would have to take his sweater off without looking at closely. The captain
was walking.
Yeah.
Abbas bowls. Oh, he's in on the pad. That's going to be close. Yeah, he's out. And again, a bit of a walk. And Butler's looking. I suspect they'll review it because they have to, really. And the only question here will be whether or not he's outside the line of the off stump for me.
Mark, we've got a review for LBW.
That
originally given out.
It did look plumb.
We start with
that
foot,
looked
no ball,
plumb.
please.
Yeah.
Exactly what we're talking about. The walking. He's never really forward, is he?
It's fine. It's a fair delivery.
Let's see.
Vision, please.
He's either nicked it if he's got any hope here, but I think he'd have reviewed it more positively had that been the case, or struck outside the line of the off stump. That's what he'd be hoping for. Let's have a look.
Thank you. Yeah, that's not much good for me. If we've got another angle, that would be good.
That's Bruce Oxenford asking for the reviews. He's running through the replays.
Yeah, Aldridge is going to be our best tool here, I'm sure.
Looking at to see if there's an edge there or not. I can't see one.
Can't really tell from that angle. Aldridge will help.
Wow. So this is the ultra edge.
Yeah, it's clear. It's clear. So there's no bat involved. If we can go to ball tracking when it's ready, please, Mark.
Height, is that going to save him here? Here's the ball tracking.
All right, pistol, we've got pitching outside off. The impact is in line. The wickets is...
Umpire's call for height, so he's out.
I'll get you to stay with your original decision. Stand by.
So he is out. And Paul Rifle, pistol as you heard him called there, raises the finger. And Josh Butler's on his way. So that, I'm afraid, is the end of him for 67. He added, one overnight? Yeah, 67. Very well played yesterday. But that is the last thing England want, with a new ball due next over. And they've lost their last remaining batsman.
Well, they haven't even taken the new ball.
No.
And got him out. Bowling straight on a full length, isn't it? We don't mean half volleys, but bringing people forward. And I'm sure people have talked about this before on radio, that there's a lot of England players who play through the line of the ball. They don't play the old-fashioned defensive shot with the bat just in front of the pad or next to the pad. They play right through the ball. Johnny Bairstow did first innings, and he did second innings, and there are others as well. And so you gap yourself. If the ball does anything, you miss it, because there's a big gap you could drive your car through. And they don't play the old-fashioned way of defence. If it's not there to hit, defend it. When it's there to hit, hit it. But they just play through the line all the time, as if they're playing one-day cricket, where somebody bowls you a good ball in a 20-20 with only 120 overs, or balls rather, you actually have to hit it somewhere, don't you? I understand the difference. But in Test cricket, it's suicide at times, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a bit of an early morning sighting, still looking for the ball, sort of LBW, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, but I'd prefer it if he just blocked it, you know, just in front of his pad. He'd have more chance when it just nips back a fraction and maybe getting a thick edge, and then you're not out.
Mark Wood has arrived. So Broad and Anderson remain. 2:36 for 7. Abbas on his way. Wood right-handed, shuffles across his stumps. He can bat a bit, plays out to point, and there's no run. So that partnership in the end then, Andrew, was worth
126, 37.5 overs. And Josh Butler's 67 off 138 balls with 6 fours, 185 minutes.
Thank you, sir. And that was the 8th ball of the morning, wasn't it? I think he was dismissed. Thank you. 2:36 for 7. Halfway through the 80th over, that new ball will be rustling in the umpire's pocket as Abbas runs up, bowls, and has driven for 4. That's a good stroke. The crowd like that. Oh. And Wood just opened his shoulders there and flashed that square through point and down to old Father Time territory to the boundary. 2:40 for 7. They might as well play a few shots, aren't they, frankly? We talk about the outfield being fast and so on. It's, hanging around forever is not going to
No, I don't.
achieve
I
much.
never tell them to hang around. But I just want you play responsibly, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You
But
try and
sensibly.
play responsibly. If you think you're just going to whack at every ball, you're going to get out.
You score quickly at 6 and over and don't get out, Jeffrey.
Hey, listen, they'll score at 3 and over easy without trying to do anything. They'll have men, when they take the new ball, they'll have men round the bat.
The lead is 61. Abbas on his way, bowls to Wood, who was tempted slightly by that one, which was moving away down the slope outside the off stump, and he let it go by. Still arrivals there in the mound stand, being shown the way by the ushers, stewards and so on, as to where they're going to be sitting. Certainly not as many here as I expected. I assumed that all the tickets are sold today. They usually are.
Yeah, when people have to come a long way and they don't think the cricket's going to last very long.
Abbas goes creeping in, bowls outside the off stump to complete his over. Well done him from a Pakistan perspective. He's broken that partnership, he's set it up. The new ball is now due. And Pakistan need 3 wickets to bowl England out. And maybe bank holiday, people have gone away anyway, so...
Well,
anyway.
also they think of, well, I can do something for the full day. If I come to Lord's, they might bat all day, but what happens if they all get out quickly? The day's ruined. I finish by just after lunch and, I've got a half a day, so they say, no, I've got to do something for the whole day. No, I think that's what they do.
Could be true, Jeffrey. Could be very true. So the screen moves across down there in front of the members, which means that Mohammad Amir is indeed going to bowl from the pavilion end. That's the end that he would choose for sure, with the breeze as it is and the slope. And is that the shiny new ball in his hand? Didn't actually see the signal.
I thought he bowled better from the nursery end. I know he shouldn't, theoretically, at all the slopes, but it seemed to cause more problems. Don't ask me why, but...
We don't think this is the new ball yet. Can't see a close-up picture yet. Andrew's closing his head.
There's a couple of looseners, won't he?
Yeah, it might do. Let's have a look. Here's Mohammad Amir, bowling to Bess. He hasn't faced yet today. Oh, and he's turning it away into the leg side. The ball bounces off his thigh pad. That is still the old ball. It looks dull from here. So it's actually quite a good ploy to bowl 3 or 4 maybe with the old one. The batsman gets used to that ball and the bounce and so on, thinks, oh, that's okay, and then you take the new one, and that's when you startle him, take a bit by surprise.
It whistles through, doesn't it, and bounces more.
Yeah, I think it is actually more effective that way. He's weaving for a field change. He's putting the man out now to deep square legs. He's going to give Bess a short 1 or 2 perhaps. 2:40 for 7. Butler is out if you're just tuning away for the first time. Sorry if that upsets you. 2:40 for 7. Bess is on 55. In comes Amir, bowls to him, and he just waits for this thing very calmly. Steers the ball down to square third man. They took a run. It's only a short boundary down there. And so the single is all they'll have. 241 for 7, and the lead is 62.
It's now 5 LBWs in the match for Mohammad Abbas. He got 5 LBWs in Ireland as well, so 10 of his 16 wickets in the 2 tests on this tour have been LBW. And nobody's taken 6 LBWs in the test at Lord's yet.
Ever?
Ever.
Well, that could happen. Rob Bailey's appeared, the genial 4th umpire, and in this instance, ball carrier. So the new ball is now being taken. And Tucker's waving it around for everyone to see before finally lobbing it up to Mohammad Amir. So Mark Wood's taking guard.
Why backward point up at Gully? Why would you save a single?
Not quite sure I got a deep square leg either, but anyway, you never know, Jeffrey. There's a third man. I can understand that because a lower order man might get an edge. Oh, they're bringing the deep square leg up.
Gotta come home.
Yes, I think so. They've got to keep Wood on strike for a start.
Bowl him out.
Up he comes to mid-wicket. Mark Wood, England's number 9, but ready with 4 to his name. He's ready now as Mohammad Amir. That bustling approach comes in, left arm over, bowls with a grunt, and that bounced. And Wood took the bottom hand off the bat handle there. The old lawnmower shot they call, don't they, when you're ripping the lawnmower.
Tell our listeners, Jonathan, as a tail ender, don't like that red shiny new ball, do you?
But it's just It's amazing. And actually, it was rather depressing as to how often you had to go out and face it. I mean, the timing of this was just, you'd look up, you'd walk out about, oh no, it's next over, or 2 overs time.
Psychologically, you don't like it, do you?
Sylvester Clark starting to loosen up.
Oh, terrible bowler him.
He once tried to drag the new ball out of the umpire's pocket and over early. He said, I want him, I want him, I want him. And I said, well, you can't have me yet. There's only 99 overs. And the umpire's saying, go away, Silver. You know, these are 100 overs new ball. Go away, you can't have it. I want it, I want it. It's horrible. Amir bowls outside the off stump. Wood lets it go by.
Nasty, horrible bowler, wasn't it? Fast.
I remember walking past Alec, who's keeping wicket. It was always very nice, Alec. He was a bit chirpy when it was whistling round a bit, but it was always, when you walk past, an encouraging word. But it was the length of time it took to get from Alec to the stumps. That was the horrible thing. You seemed to be walking forever.
Oh, it was quick.
Very lonely place.
2 and over when he bent the arm, he was fast.
It was. And your colleague at the other end, like Gordon Parsons, was white as a sheet. 241 for 7. Amir on his way, bowls to Wood, beaten. Just pushing the bat towards the ball, and no contact.
The great Graham Pollock, left-hander, Africa, best player ever. Said to me, I knew him well, big friend of Peter Koopmeister, and he said, we didn't know much about him till he came to play for Transvaal.
He did, didn't he? He went.
And he hobbled in with those bad knees, didn't he? He didn't run, he kind of hobbled, didn't he? And he said, I've stood at second slip for all sorts of bowlers. And wow, he said, I've never seen anything like it the first sight we had of him.
Amir bowls. Oh, no, there's an appeal, and it's caught behind. Similar to the stroke before, a little push outside the off stump, and the new ball, as expected, does the trick. Mark Wood, looking rueful, walks past Don Bess, who's leaning on his bat, waiting for the replay on the screen. We're looking at it from here now. It's just pushed across him. A little feathered edge, just a small one. And immediately he turns there. He knew he'd edged it. And Sarfaraz doesn't really bother to appeal, just thumps his gloves together. And Mohammad Amir gives one of his spread-eagled arm celebrations. Very much his trademark. And Wood's out for 4. So England are subsiding. 241 for 8. They lead by 62, and unlikely that we're going to see one of those heroic, memorable endings, but those runs still have to be scored.
It's just a different game when you get the new ball and when the fast bowlers have had a rest. Every tail ender will tell you. Phillips sat next to me, and he knows it's a different ball game. When they've had a night's kip and a nice bed, they come up fresh next morning. They're here's a new conker. Now polish these off and let's get up the road to the next venue. They're racing differently. It's totally different game, and you can talk all you want about the 22 yards being the same strip you batted on last night. The sun's shining. The outfield's fast. It's a lovely pitch. You should get runs. Sorry, it don't work like that, does it, Jonathan?
No, it does not.
No, they're racing, the bowlers. They're just totally different. They're up for the challenge. They haven't been fielding and bowling all day and a bit tired. Now they're ready to knock you over, and they usually do.
And here comes Broad on a pair, and he'll be very aware of that. But he's not going to be facing. It's going to be Abbas, who probably isn't aware that he stands on the threshold here of establishing a new record if he gets another LBW. Not sort of thing that a bowler would necessarily be aware of, I don't suppose, but Broad will know he's on a pair. He's had a bit of a talking to there from Best. They've discussed some tactics, which might well be Broad saying, hey, if I'm on strike and I'm running, it's just get in the blocks. 241 for 8. I never did bag a pair. Did you bag a pair, Tuffers? He's thinking about it once, OK.
He never bagged one?
No, never bagged a pair.
God, you lucky blighter.
No, it's skill, Jeffrey, it's skill. 241 for 8. Bess on strike. In goes Abbas with that new ball and inside edge into the pad. Ball doesn't go very far. It's picked by the fielder coming in from cover. It's skill. What sort of poor batsman? I mean, how poor and unskillful do you have to be out naught twice in the same game? I mean, that's rubbish, Jeffrey. That is rubbish, that is. How many times did you do it?
Yeah, I knew what was coming. You knew the last question was going to be.
How many times?
Once.
What, first class and Test cricket?
First class.
You bagged a pair only once in your whole career?
Yeah, I never got bat on ball either against Norman Graham.
Well, that's not bad.
6'8".
But still, I mean,
I never hit the ball in the bat.
Here's Abbas bowling, and that's tucked away into the leg side. Broad sets off down to the far end, and so his moments will come as he'll try and just get off the mark. No, I'm sorry, but any batsman who's poor enough to get out twice for naught in the same game, we shouldn't really even be discussing his
You
skill.
can get away with this now, can't you? Because
no, it never happened. Out first ball twice, not in the same game. Same bowler though. That's obviously quite unusual. Out of all the number of times I've batted in first-class cricket, the same bowler got me out twice first ball.
I nearly got a king pair against Sobers at Nottingham in a test match. First innings, big banana swing. Did the same second innings, but I did what I was telling you. I got forward, I got a little inside edge.
Yeah, the umpire heard it.
Yeah, I got away, I got 70.
I bet you're waving your bat at him.
Definitely. Here, I hit it.
Well, can Broad get away? The bowler got me out twice, but it was Garth LaRue. He wasn't a spinner. Garth LaRue twice. He's one of those fast bowlers who's horrible on the field, but very nice off it. 242 for 8. Can Broad avoid his pair? In goes Abbas and bowls to him. He's gone for glory, hitting it a wide drive there, hard to point, but hits the fielder instead. If I were Bess, I would be in the blocks here.
Yep, absolutely.
Broad's doing some gardening.
We could do an hour of Stewart. He's playing shots. An hour of Stewart will be very entertaining.
Well, he scored that excellent 100 here against Pakistan in the match that we don't really talk about these days. Now, hang on, the fielder there has suddenly gone down in a heap. At backward point. I mean, he was hit quite hard at him, but he's all hunched up, and it looks as if he's in terrible pain. Well, watch this again. It was sliced at him. Oh, I think we know why.
Sitting midriff in that.
It's not a broken
area.
finger, I'm afraid.
He's
It's
down.
It's done damage
He's
elsewhere.
down.
And
he's look at him. He's flat out on the ground now.
Literally crawling, and someone there kindly is sort of bending his legs for him. It's one of those. It's an eye waterer, but the pain will pass. It's Imam. And there's a bit of an inzamam about this, the theatricals out there, actually. I mean, we all know it hurts. We all know it's nasty.
That's why we laugh, because it's not us.
But it's not often you see somebody lying flat on his face. However, it isn't. Well, I was going to say, and I'm saying this the right way, Jeffrey. Let's not forget it's a new ball, which is a bit harder. But looking at the replay.
Yes. That is painful.
It is painful, and I think the physio's arrived now. There's not much you can do. You can't exactly. Well, you can't treat it, can you?
No, you don't want the sponge down there like you do at football, do you?
You can't. It's something, I'm afraid.
You just got to let the pain go and the funny feeling up to your kidneys. You just got to hang on.
Jeffrey, that's enough of that. Thank you. We'll pass our fraternal sympathies to Imam, but he's still. They're going to get someone else out of it, but we've already got Zaman out there fielding as a substitute. But he's going off. I think he is going off, and that is very unusual. He must have really caught him in a particular delicate place. But I mean, he's walking okay, and it'll be fine. Give him 5 minutes, suck in some air, and he'll be okay. But at the moment, he also is leaving the field, having been hit in a nasty place with the new ball. So off he goes. Broad is still on his pair, and let's have Simon Mann coming in here.
Well, I've never seen that before. I've seen pain, but I have never seen anybody have to go off. But more important is, come on, Stuart Broad. 1 hour's entertainment, that's what we want. It'll be thrilling.
Good morning. 63 ahead, England, 2 wickets left. Broad on strike on naught, and Mohamed Abbas going into Bolton. Still 3 balls left in the over. 2 slips in. Mohamed Abbas bowls to Broad. And he's caught behind, is he? It's a low one. He is. He's given out. And Broad bags them. Broad's gone for naught. And England are 242 for 9. And this has happened very quickly this morning. 3 wickets in just over 20 minutes.
Well, it was a nothing shot. We can't blame tailenders at that. It was sort of poke it wide. It was outside off stump. Could have left it going across him, but tailenders pocketed it a bit and sort of defensive shot, didn't need to be defending it. Nicked it, was what I keep saying. The new ball, fresh bowlers, had a good sleep. It's a different ball game. Everybody listening knows that. It's not just Test cricket. Everybody who plays club cricket, played school cricket, they're listening out there, they know that you give the bowlers a new cherry, a night's rest. Well, most times there's only one winner. That's the bowlers.
Yep, there's only going to be one winner in this Test match as well. England effectively 63 for 9.
And it would be a shame if Pakistan didn't win. They deserve to win. I mean, for me, all England can do is put their hand up honestly and say, hey, we didn't bring our A game, we didn't play our best. We couldn't catch. I mean, our bowling was the best of the 3 departments. It wasn't bad, some of the bowling. No, a lot of effort there, but this business of you can't bat, you won't win Test cricket, and it makes it worse if you can't catch as well. Well,
no chance.
You have no chance, have you?
No. Right, Jimmy Anderson in at number 11 for England. The supporters who've come along today would have come along not quite knowing what to expect, but how long the day was going to last. There was talk about the weather being bad and showers and thunder showers around. What sort of play we were going to see? Well, I mean, the way things are going, it might not last until lunch, this game. England got 1 wicket left. The lead is a thin one. At the moment, England's best chance is all the Pakistan players injured. But Babar Azam has got his broken arm, and Imam, the opener's gone off after being hit in the groin. Andrew.
First pair for Stuart Broad in Test cricket, and he's also now opening up the lead on Jimmy Anderson and most ducks for England. They've been competing for it for a while. He's now 27, Anderson 24.
Right. Have we confirmed that Jeffrey only had 1 pair?
Yes.
Yeah. This is right. Yeah, he normally
Norman
he knows these things.
I know, got me out. Yeah. Big Norman. Yeah. He's dined out on that for years.
Duffus said he's only had 1 pair, but he said at the back of the box he said, well, I don't know, that's the only one I can remember. I might have had another one somewhere. 2:42 for 9. Here's Anderson on strike. Abbas goes into Bolton, round the wicket. Anderson drives, gets a thickish inside edge, and it rolls out towards mid-on, and there's no run.
1 pair in Test cricket for Duffus,
right.
2 in the county championship.
He's forgotten the 2. Tuffers, where are you?
He's left the box.
He's run away.
So 3 pairs in all for him, yeah?
Yeah. It's easy to forget, isn't it?
He said, I got one in Melbourne, so I remember that one. But he did say, well, there might have been a few more somewhere else. 2:42 for 9. Butler out for 67, Wood for 4, Broad for 0. So Don Best leaning on his bat at the non-striker's end. 57 not out. Abbas bowls to Anderson, who comes quietly forward and defends into the offside towards point. And the applause, a relief in the applause from the spectators here. They want to see some cricket now. I'm just trying to think, if you come along and the game ends, I mean, there is a compensation scheme. If the game ends within 25 overs, do you get your money back even though it's been completed? I'm not sure about that. I know if the rain intervenes, it's 10 overs and 25 overs of compensation. Well, that used to be the regulation anyway. But if you come along and there's only 23 overs cricket because the game ends, do you get your money back or some money back for that? I'm not sure. But I mean, it could well be that we might just have just over 25 overs. Depends how long Pakistan take to knock them off. They need to roll over 1 more England wicket. 63 for 9, effectively. 2:42 for 9. I wonder what Bess is going to do now. She's going to try and play some shots. Not easy against the new ball, against Mohammed Amir. Bowling from the pavilion end. And 2 slips in. Goes in now and bowls to Bess. He's bowled him! England all out. It's taken 26 minutes. And Pakistan needs 64 to win. Amir Castle's best with the new ball. He has gone for 57. It's 242 all out. England have lost their last 4 wickets this morning for 7 runs.
Well, instead of talking about England's batting, I want to say, well done, Pakistan. Tremendous performance. We heard me say about taking a new ball, having a rest and coming out. I went out specifically this morning to look at the pitch. It is a belter. This is the 4th day of a Test match. If you saw pitches like that on the 4th day, you'd think, I'd like a bit of a bat on that. It's dry. It looks great. There are not too many marks anywhere. Any problems. It looks a real good one. And hot sunshine as well. Lovely seeing and everything. Sorry. Well done, Pakistan. They've beaten England properly. They've outplayed the England in every department. Even the catching by Pakistan has been miles better than England.
That one might get a bit low, just seeing the replay. Knocked out his off stump. And underneath the bat, it was a strange dismissal. No, the Pakistan players jubilant. They're walking off. They need 64 to win a Lord's Test match. And they're getting a good round of applause from the spectators who turned out. They're appreciating Pakistan's efforts. And just apart from that one partnership between Buttler and Bess, Pakistan have been superb in this game. Batting, bowling, fielding, catching, and they got that. They can almost relax, really. I mean, if you're chasing 160, 180, then you just think, well, there's a few doubts in your mind. If you're chasing 60-odd, then
it's a comprehensive performance. You know, we talked about England. We expected quite a bit better from our own team, but really, that's as professional a performance as I've seen from Pakistan. There was, I mean, they're unsung, quite a lot of them. If you ask most people who like cricket out there, they'd all say, oh, they know Mohammad Amir. They're all lot talked about the match fixing and all that, so they know him. Oh, he could bowl. But if you ask them about the names of the other players, to be honest, they'd be hard pressed to give you them unless they were real die-hard cricket fans. You know, we haven't got the Wasim and Waqar and the Javed Miandads, the big, great names of Pakistan cricket, have we?
No.
This team has turned up and played superbly. Totally professional, put the ball in the right areas, full, straight, caught everything, and they batted with discipline. How often people like me, ex-players who played against them, say, well, you never know how they're going to play. They turn up and it depends on how they get out of bed or the rule by the moon, the whoosh at balls. No. They were the disciplined team, bowling, batting, good catching, proper cricket team, thoroughly deserved to win. Thoroughly outplayed England. I don't think there's any department we've come near them, which is sad from our point of view, but it wants saying they've done fantastically well.
Yep. Yep. Perfectly summed up, Jeffrey. Let's have a look at the bowling figures. I'll run through the card of the morning's play. It's all happened in a rush. Buttler was LBW to Mohammad Abbas for 67. He reviewed it. It was umpire's call for height on his way. Wood was caught by Sarfraz off Amir for 4. Broad was caught by Sarfraz off Mohammad Abbas for 0. And Bess was bowled by Amir for 57. So 242 all out in 82.1 overs. So England losing the last 4 wickets of 7 runs this morning in how many deliveries, Andrew? Have you managed to work that out?
25 balls. 25
balls it took Pakistan to bowl England out today. Yep, happy with that. Right, let's have a look at the bowling figures then. Where are they? Here we go. And Mohammad Amir, 18.1 overs, 3 maidens, 4 for 36. Mohammad Abbas, 17 overs, 3 maidens, 4 for 41. So what has he done in the match then, Mohammad Abbas?
31 overs, 10 maidens, 8 for 64.
8 for 64.
He's also just the 4th bowler ever to take 5 LBWs in consecutive tests. Muralita run, Waqar Younis and Terry Alden, right. Not surprisingly, the other 3.
Well, that's how he bowls, isn't it? Wicket to wicket, bowls straight. So Abbas taking 441. 8 in the game. Jeffrey rather dismissed him on the first day. But I can't question him about that now because he's gone. Michael Vaughan is here. So Amir 4 for 36. Abbas 4 for 41. Ashraf no wicket for 31 from 9. Hassan Ali no wicket for 58 from 19 overs. And Shadab 19 overs, 2 maidens, 2 for 63. 1 Yorkshireman replaced by another. Good morning, Michael.
Well, that was quick, wasn't it? Didn't see that coming. I expected England to at least bat an hour or so. And with the way that they played last night, clearly the Jos Buttler wicket was the key one, because you felt if Jos Buttler could have got going, he could have just kind of got a bit of momentum, and Pakistan may have panicked, but you've just got to give Pakistan all the credit in the world. They are as good a team, or this performance has been as good a performance I've seen for a long, long time. I know England have lost Test matches in the UK and the opposition teams. West Indies at Headingley last year produced a really special chase on that last day. South Africa put in a good performance at Trent Bridge, but you expected South Africa. They were right up there with the best team in the world. This is a young Pakistan team that have played with so much discipline. And what I really like about the captain Sarfraz Ahmed and what the team has delivered is they've changed tactics subtly to every single player, which tells you that they've done a lot of preparation. Even right at the end there, you just get Stuart Broad out with the ball over the wicket, feather through to the keeper. Jimmy Anderson, the number 11, comes in. What do? They went round the wicket, because that's the tactic. When I see things like that, I'm looking at a team that's thoroughly prepared, done a lot of research on the opposition, and they've done a lot of work on their skills, and they're very collectively together. That's the one thing that I always look at the Test team of England for a while now and think, we've had great individual performances. Oh, right, they've won Test matches, particularly in England. They produced wonderful displays against South Africa last year at the Oval and at Old Trafford, having been hammered at Trent Bridge. But consistently, they've been inconsistent for 2 or 3 years now of not playing collectively as a group, particularly the batting. It doesn't matter where they play or what the conditions are. They generally are 50 for 3, 100 for 4. And that's a real concern for the England. So how they get out of it, you can change personnel. They've tried that. They can change the batting lineup. They've tried that. Somehow the individuals have to look at themselves and go, right, how am I going to bat for longer periods of time? How am I going to get the team in a position of better strength when we get the opportunity? All right, the ball was doing a bit on day one, but to be bowled out for 184, that's a long way under par. If you're 15% under par, you've got an excuse. When you're probably 50%, 40% under par, that's a huge failure in the batting lineup. And yes, they're up against, in particular, Hassan Ali, Mohammad Amir and Mohammad Abbas. That trio, I can't see them bowling any worse. They just look like they're locked in. That's what they do. That's the way they bowl. So in a few days' time at Headingley, we're going to have to expect the same. I don't see that Pakistan will... their batting might get rolled over. They're very inexperienced, but I think that trio of seam bowlers, I just think they will produce some really good deliveries. So as a batting unit, you've got to be on your mind, you've got to be technically correct, you've got to be so on it. As Dominic Bess and Josh Butler were last night, they were on it. And starting again the next day is never easy. And these are the kind of things. I remember Adelaide. Remember arriving at Adelaide on the 5th morning, full of joy and hope, and arriving with a real spring in our steps, thinking, oh, wait a minute, this could it? And all of a sudden, 2 overs later, flat. Exactly the same's happening again. So the same things are happening to the Test team on a regular occurrence. They do lose quick wickets often.
Yeah, well, they've got some problems. There's no doubt about that. You might argue there are 2 or 3 players that shouldn't be in the team. You've got a few players who are moving towards the end of their careers, and you've got players batting perhaps in unfamiliar batting positions. Some structural problems. Andrew?
So the last 4 wickets fell this morning for 6 runs in 18 balls. I mean, there was for 7 in 25 for the whole day, but they fell from wicket to wicket.
It was 4 for 6.
4 for 6 and 18.
4 for 6 and 18, right, I'm with you. But overall this morning, it took 25 balls for England. Yeah. Right. Well, Imam is out there after being struck in the groin while fielding and having to go off the field. He's coming out to open out. And why not as well? You relish the opportunity to be there at the end, if you possibly can be, when you win a Test match at Lord's. You wouldn't want to give that up. So a few minutes rest in the pavilion.
On a slightly different note, have you been to the facial recognition?
I have, yeah.
Who are you?
Andrew Strauss,
really?
26%.
So this morning I did 2. When I smile, I am...
it should be you, shouldn't
85% me, yeah, only 85, but 23% Chris Wokes, 20% Phil Tufnell, which is a concern, but slightly more concerning, I'm 22% Michael Carberry.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, Henry Moran, our assistant producer and general do-everything person, came up as... Who did you come up with, Henry? The first ball is bowled, that's played away into the offside, and there is no run, but Azhar Ali. I think Henry had a real mixture. Devon Malcolm, I think, was in there. Who else?
Well, he had James Vince, which I think was quite close.
Yeah, James Vince, Stuart Broad, Kabir Ali and Devon Malcolm.
See, when I'm grumpy, so I did a smiley face, which was a 4, and when I'm grumpy and a real sad face...
Here's Anderson bowling to Azhar. Azhar plays defensively into the offside and there's no run.
Absolutely no surprise. I'm 28% Jeffrey Boycott.
Well, Simon Hughes did it yesterday. He got a bit of Geoffrey Boycott as well, which
I can see that.
with.
Yeah, I can see that.
Have you had a go at the virtual reality batting? I had a go at that yesterday.
Did you get any sixes?
No. I scored 7 off and over. But Root's done the most. He got 28 off and over. Stokes was 23, I think. Here is Anderson bowling outside the off stump, and there's no stroke. It's a very interesting tool, actually. They refined it.
Did you hit any sixes?
No.
Because there's donations to charity Chance to Shine for every 6 that's hit on the VR unit. And also in the series, there's charity donations for every 6 that the England side hit. And so far this Test match, England have raised £4,650. So they hit 29 fours in the first innings and 1 6.
Here's Anderson bowling to Azhar, and that's the first run of the second innings of Pakistan off the pad down towards fine leg. England don't have a fine leg, they have a deep back with square leg, so they're going to trot back for 2 runs, I presume leg buys. Yep, leg buys signalled by umpire Rob Tucker.
And the good thing about the hashtag no boundaries this campaign for Chance to Shine, it's a great one, but they actually need boundaries. So they do need England to bat a lot better. So the England side, not only do they need to bat better, they need to help charity.
Yeah, they're probably following no boundaries a bit too closely. Here is Anderson going into bowl, and Azhar squared up by that one, runs it off an open face down to the gully. And there's no run. I see Azhar's been given 2 runs though. I'm sure I saw the umpire signal leg by. On the scoreboard, well, they've taken it off now. They've taken it off, yes. 2 for no wicket. Pakistan needs 64 to win. Well, he won't have much of a chance to go there, I suppose, the rest of the match, because we haven't got a lot of the game left. But if you are listening in the ground, it is worth having a go at the virtual reality. You get a chance to bat an over. You get a lot of balls outside the off stump.
Who are you facing?
Here is Anderson bowling, and that's nudged away off an open face down to the 3rd man boundary for 4. All the way on the ground, past 3rd slip, between 3rd slip and gully, and Pakistan moved to 6 for no wicket at the end of the first over. No one in particular, I don't think. It's not like you get to face Devon Malcolm or Darren Gough or something like that. I think it'd be quite good fun to do that, mind you. Dan Norcross is coming in.
Yeah, I think I did it last year. Don't think I hit so many. Stuart Broad, no surprise, going to partner Jimmy Anderson. And again, no surprise that the England side just look flat. They know this is just, the one thing that you would be saying is that just try and pick up 2 or 3 wickets, because, it is a 2-match series. We'll be going 1-0 down, but you might as well take a couple of scalps up to Headingley and get into the mind of an Imran Haq who can play quite well, but, you can get a couple of failures into a batting mindset. Well, you might just take a little bit of a negative thought as an individual batsman going to Headingley, so try and pick up 2 or 3 wickets here.
Well, indeed, it's a 2-test series. They're not lost the series yet. But after a performance like this, you've got to pull yourself together somehow, haven't you? That's been so deeply... The match has been disappointing. In all honesty, there have been 10 sessions of this match, and England have performed well in one of them. As Broad is it from the nursery end, and it beats the outside edge of Imran ul Haq. Speaking of hacks, I think the hacks downstairs will be thinking, if it were done, when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly, frankly.
Well, I can't think it's going to last too long. Once you get to within 20 or so, you think it's going to be very, very quick indeed. What do you reckon? 14 overs, something like that?
Oh yeah, I would think. We had a bit of a sweepstake on time. I'm out of it now. I'd gone for 2:14. Adam Mountford had gone for 1:20. He thought that it might be the extra half hour. As Broad is in, forward comes Omar and plays a glorious off drive. I didn't time it perfectly. It didn't sound great off the bat, but there was just a little push, and it's gone all the way to the boundary for 4. Who knows? At 14 overs, it could be fewer than that, Michael. 10 without loss, chasing 64 to win. And this morning, as we've had half an hour out at 10:30 to 11. There was all that smidgen of hope that Aggers had said at the end of yesterday's play. Does this not remind you a little bit of Adelaide?
Absolutely.
When we turned up at Adelaide, I had a virtually sleepless night imagining what great heroics there could be the next day, and then was Wokes out in the first over. It felt like that. I think Wokes and Root were out within no time, and
Hazelwood did for them, didn't he?
He did, and the whole thing seemed to be over in about 50 minutes or something, if that. 3 slips, backward point, extra mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, and a deep backward square leg as Broad is in. Imam, who gets a thick inside edge to a ball that goes down to that deep backward square leg for a single. 11 without loss, 53 more required for victory. Imam to 5, Azhar Ali to 4. But again, you're absolutely spot on. If you just start to develop a pattern, you know, if the same bowler's getting out the same batsman the same way, then that can get into their head, can't it? Azhar Ali was LBW to Anderson in the first innings. Imam was LBW to Broad in the first innings. Maybe just a couple of little battles that are there that England could win, that they could take to Headingley.
Well, that's all they can do.
Yeah, there's nothing else for them. They're not going to defend 64. As Broad comes into Azhar Ali. Oh, drives it a full ball, but comes on it very late indeed, and it squirts off the bottom of his bat back up the wicket to the bowler. There's no run.
And what will happen, and rightfully so, there'll be an inquiry into this England performance of why and how they can improve and what is actually going on with them. But you know, I think in the back we've got to start thinking Pakistan have played incredible. It's as good a performance I've seen. I mean, I've said before, England lose test matches here, but this has been so professional. You don't generally say that about a Pakistan side, particularly. We're in May.
There's been one false moment from Pakistan. It was the captain hooking in the last over before tea, wasn't it? As Broad is in again, outside of the off stump, through to the keeper, no run. And when you think, you know, in a whole test match, the catches that can be dropped, the shots that are played, the bowling at different times, you would say that there has just been one ball where Pakistan felt that they will be annoyed with themselves the rest of the time.
And there was a little moment last night for 20-30 minutes where the fielding started to get a little bit raggy.
Yeah, with an old ball.
It started to flap a little bit, but other than that...
Well, they've come back from that immediately, haven't they? I mean, if they gave England the tiniest scent, they've slammed the door shut this morning. Broad in once more. Forward comes Azhar Ali and plays that down off the outside half of his bat into the backward point region. No run, end of the over. 11 without loss. 53 more required for victory. Azhar Ali has 5. Imam ul Haq. Azhar Ali has 4. Imam ul Haq has 5. Andrew.
At Adelaide last year, going into the final day in England, 176 for 4 overnight, chasing 354. Woakes was out to the second ball.
Second ball. And Root was out pretty shortly after that, as I recall. They were the overnight batsmen, weren't they? And
yeah.
It had all gone wrong when Dawid Malan was out just before the close of play after a good partnership between he and Root.
Yeah, the Aussies got the pink ball reverse swinging.
They did get it reverse swinging, didn't they? They were awfully good at that throughout a lot of the series. As Jimmy Anderson is coming in from the pavilion. And can I ask you, Michael, because this has been bugging me. I know it's a really small thing to be annoyed about when they're way more concerning things for cricket at the moment. Anderson bowls outside the off stump through to the keeper, no run. White tarpaulin or sheet that's above the sight screen is supposed to be extra sight screen, is it? Why have you got people sitting in front of it?
Well, good question. And also, actually look at where it's positioned. It is just for the left arm or right arm round the wicket. Left arm over right. Yeah. Actually, where Jimmy's bowling, where he's coming from, you'd say it doesn't do its job. It doesn't go quite far enough across.
No, it doesn't. Anderson in again to Imam. It's turned round ever so slightly. Gets a thick leading edge. Goes into the covers. They come through for another run. He moves to 6-12 without loss.
Is that so? When you start looking for excuses for the England side,
no, I'm not.
Is that your top of your tree? That's why.
No, I'm just. I think what actually happens. I think when England suffer an abject loss is that almost everything starts to work here.
Blame the sweaters. I don't like the England sweaters.
I've heard there's a lot of anger about this because it's not coordinated with the shirt. Is that right?
Yeah.
Anderson in once more. Oh, he's bowled him! That's a lovely ball. Azhar Ali playing around the balls and seen his off stump knocked back. And Anderson has a wicket. Azhar Ali has gone to Anderson again. He's gone for 4. Pakistan 12 for 1. And there is one of those minor victories that England can hope for. Oh, actually, it's gone past his outside edge and taken the off stump out of the ground. Super bit of bowling from Anderson. Too little, too late. But, we're just having a look to make sure. Yes, he's just got his heel behind the line as he so frequently does. 12 for 1.
That's a wonderful delivery. Perfect length. Just holds its line and just goes a little bit away from Azhar Ali. And the slope's probably done its trick. He's probably played inside the line because he's expecting the ball to come down the slope just a fraction. And he just held its line and went up the slope. It's a beauty.
It is. It's his first wicket from the pavilion in this match. He's picked up 4 now in the match, 3 from the nursery and 1 from the pavilion end.
Well, there's a scalp, isn't it? Because he's been out twice now to Jimmy Anderson, Azhar Ali. So yeah, Pakistan will win this game, but Azhar Ali will get on the bus up to Headingley knowing that he'll face Jimmy Anderson on Friday, potentially at Leeds, having got out twice to him at Lords. So there's a small glimmer.
There is. And but all these small glimmers, they add up to so many what-ifs, don't they? Just a note to 5 Live Sports Extra listeners, when we're finished here, we will be bringing you some Royal London One-Day Cup commentary. So keep tuned. We will have live cricket. And you can, of course, follow every ball of every county game via the BBC Sport website and app, where you can also, of course, watch that tremendous piece of bowling from Jimmy Anderson. A small glimmer of light in what has been a fairly gloomy 3 days and 1 session for England. There's a new batsman arrives. That's the other part of it, isn't it? There's no Babar Azam, and a lot of there'll be so many what-ifs. Thinking, had England got themselves a lead of 160th, they'd batted just not so badly. But the thing is, you bat badly in both innings, it starts to become a bit.
If you get bowled out 184 in a Test match in the first innings, you don't win many.
Well, you have to start asking the question: are England as good as they think they are? Perhaps.
Well, they're not. That's now a fact. They're not. One-day cricket they are.
Well,
Test cricket for a long while they're just too inconsistent.
Anderson is in to Haris Sohail, who leaves the ball alone outside the off-stump. It goes through to the keeper. And there is no run. Indeed, I mean, the transformation in one-day cricket is remarkable, and they'll get the opportunity to play against Australia in a 5-match series when this series is over, as well as a game against Scotland.
Look, Dan, just look at the England names. And names are just names, and they're just written on a team sheet, and it counts for nothing until you get out there and you've got to perform. But Anderson, Broad, Cook, Root, Bairstow, Butler, Stokes.
Anderson into Sohail, and he lets that ball go by outside the off stump. Some oohs and ahs, but it was really nowhere near the off stump. But taken by Bairstow, no run, 12 for 1. The score remains.
That amount of cricketing talent should not be producing these kind of performances, and the performance that we saw in New Zealand in the first Test.
Well, here's
2 or 3 times in the Ashes. The performance at Headingley against the West Indies. You're kind of looking at that. There's something seriously wrong with their thinking, because the talent's all there.
Anderson in again to Sohail, and he works this off his pans down towards the 5-leg boundary. It might make it, it might not. It's been hunted down by Mark Wood, and they'll come back for a second. 14 for 1. Haris Sohail is off the mark. He has 2. Imam Ul Haq has 6 at the end of the over. Pakistan 14 for 1. Let me give you this as a fact. Of the 11 England players who wielded the willow in this match, Dom Bess will take out because he's a debutant, so I'm not interested in his average. He didn't have one. Of the other 10, only 1 player has played 2 and just beyond their average. Jos Buttler. He's scored 81 runs in this match. He's England's leading run scorer in this match. His average before this was in the low 30s. He's averaged 40 in this match. Every single other player has batted below their average. Now, is that a coaching thing? Is that the players themselves? What is that?
I just think sometimes you've got to be careful of talking. I heard data is going to be used to pick teams these days. And you've got to pick people who can actually control the mind.
Broad in, start a new over, outside the off-stump, left alone by Imam, and there is no run.
So, for instance, in data, so you can't tell me if this is the new world of picking players on data and information when they get the runs at certain specific times. The opening partnership of Cook and Stoneman, if it's on data, they cannot be at Headingley.
Can they really change the partnership between now and
if they're using data to pick teams?
Yeah.
Cook and Stoneman cannot walk out the bat at Headingley because they're averaging 18 as an opening pair.
Yeah. Broad in again to Imam, who plays a solid forward defensive shot up to mid-off to a full delivery on middle and off, no run.
And data can only take you so far.
Well, there's a very interesting piece in this month's Cricketer magazine about how you pick players and players who have performed above their first-class average. You are one of the very few people in the last, I don't know how many years it was, 20 players for England have scored over 3,000 runs. And only you, Paul Collingwood,
Andrew Strauss.
Marcus Trescothick.
Not Strauss.
I don't think it was Strauss. Marcus Trescothick and David Gower, as this next delivery is defended again to mid-off, have performed above their first-class average. Everybody else performs slightly below it, which is entirely to be expected. So if you look at people's first-class averages, you're going to get, in all likelihood, a very strong hint as to what they're likely to do in a test match. So if people are averaging 35 in first-class cricket, maybe, I know there are exceptions, and we've just named them, but they're rare exceptions, and that's why we named them, because they're unusual. Maybe they're not the players that you need to be looking at. Maybe someone like James Hildreth, who has a good first-class average, is to be seen as very unlucky not to have played for England. Next ball is down the leg side. Narrowly misses the bat.
But also,
Imam Trust a glance, sorry, no run.
On the other foot, there's been many players that have been picked for England on the highest first-class averages, and
Yes.
they haven't performed.
Yeah, but you know, they are also quite unusual. So if you think of sort of Hick and Ramprakash, but again, we mention them because the disparity between their test average and their first-class average is huge. The vast bulk.
You go over the last 5 or 6 years, England have picked a lot of players who have actually been the leading or the candidate.
Within that year,
the trend of play at that time, you know.
But it can be in that year. I think that as Broad is in again and is driven up to mid-on, there's no run. What this article was sort of suggesting is that if you look at the totality of someone's career, rather than thinking, oh, well, Keaton Jennings has just scored 300s in 5 matches, so he's in great form, you put him in the team. You look at Keaton Jennings' first-class average, it's about 33. So are we really going to expect someone with a first-class average of 33 consistently to perform? Because, of course, you get an average of 33 because occasionally you do score hundreds. And if you're just picking them because they've just scored 100, that's not really looking at the data. That's going on a hunch or on form. This next ball is beating the bat. Yeah, but good delivery. So through to the keeper. End of the over. 14 for 1, Pakistan. Haris Sale has 2. Imam has 6. 4 overs have been bowled. Pakistan require a further 50 runs to win.
But either way, it's flawed. Because it's been proven over the last few years that they have picked players that have scored a lot of runs, and big averages, not words, and they have picked the other way. But you can be successful both ways. You know, I think what I look at the England team, they have to find players, and look, these are the players. There's no, I could bring Jennings in for Stoneman at the top. You could bring in Gummins. It's the togetherness and the kind of awareness of the situations that they're putting themselves in and getting out of it, and that's where they're coming unstuck. It's not the talent.
Well, that's
not the averages. It's the fact they can't read play.
Anderson in, start a new over. He's worked into the onside. He'll pick up a single. Good diving stop at mid-wicket. It might have been a hint of a possibility of a run out, but didn't quite field it cleanly enough. 15 for 1. Imam back on strike. He has 6. Haris Sahel has 3. Absolutely, but that's sort of the question I'm asking. If you've got a load of players and we can gather that they're good enough and they've been picked for good reasons. You've got players with far better batting averages than they're currently scoring runs. People who are got 940 wickets between them opening the bowling. Zanis is in again outside the off-spin through to the keeper, no run. And not that I'm saying that I think that England's problem in this match has been the bowling, to be honest, because I think we all thought it was a 300 wicket.
But also, Dan, the problem that I find, first-class cricket being played in April, May, I don't think is a fair assessment of what you're looking for in Test match cricket.
No.
And I've said that for many, many years in county cricket, that I don't think it's and none of the first-class structures around the world actually prepare you fundamentally properly for the Test arena.
Anderson in again and is driven into the offside nicely by Imam Ul-Haq. It'll run away towards the tavern. They'll pick up 2 more. They'll come back for a 3rd. This could be tight as the throw comes in. 3 more to the total. 18 for 1. Imam Ul-Haq moves to 9 with that.
And if you're going to play 4-day cricket in April, May with the ball zipping around all over the place, you do get rewarded for a quick-fire 40 or 50. You get rewarded. If you make a quick-fire 40 or 50 on some of the wickets that I saw in April, well, you generally win your team a game or 2.
Well, like Johnny Bairstow at Chelmsford this year when he came out to open the batting for Yorkshire. Next ball is played into the offside, and I get an easy single. It was a little short. Just went up on his toes to Haris Sahel and pushed it into a wide gap on the offside. 19 for 1. He moves to 4.
So I don't think we're giving our next generation of player the best opportunity to bat for 6, 7, 8 hours, which you're required to be successful on better
but
wickets against better.
How do you do that, though? Because, I mean, if we're going to play Test matches in May, then
Well, we're getting further and further at the end of May into June. It's county cricket that I worry about in April, May. That's why I said in the winter, why don't they look to play a bit of county cricket overseas?
Well, one of the other things you can also do is kick off like Australia do, I believe. Stick the 50-over tournament in a block at the beginning of the season. So actually, you're
then that'll probably affect our white ball game.
Well, it might do. It might do
because it's zipping around all over the place.
Yeah. Anderson in again, and it's driven up to mid-off. There is no run.
Why just not play cricket in
abroad?
UK. Go and play overseas when the wickets are potentially better.
Would our producer be happy to send us to various parts of the far-flung planet to bring county commentary? I certainly hope so.
If you want to,
UAE, Barbados, I think would probably be a nice.
Well, counties go overseas place. Anyway in March. They all go pretty much away, don't they, for 2 or 3 weeks?
Why not? Kabul, yes, we could be there. Or Dhaka or Chittagong, we could be all around the world. As Anderson bowls again through to the keeper, and there's no run. But no, I think you made that point at Sydney, and I thought it was a strong one. That the UAE, for example, you could play, Caribbean, you could play. I mean, what county fans will make of that is anyone's guess. I leave you to deal with them and their inevitable irascibility at that suggestion. So you can discuss that, Michael, and I should get out of the way for Jonathan Agnew.
That's just ideas. I just don't like seeing county cricket being played first few weeks of April, ball zipping all over the place. I don't think it prepares players to bat for long periods of time. I actually don't think it prepares bowlers to be ultimately exactly what you require for the highest level, which is what your system's all about.
Interesting that Andy Flower acknowledged that, didn't he, the other day? At lunchtime, it was at that level. Of course they know. It's a question of trying to squeeze everything in. That's the question. But there is this review going on into the structure. Interesting to see what they come up with. 19 for 1, so 45 more needed by Pakistan. They've an hour until lunch, and then actually lunch can be delayed. I think it's about 15 minutes, isn't it? If umpires feel that there could be a result imminently, so it'll probably happen before the interval, unless Broad does something sensational. Well, that one's wide of the off stump. Moved away a bit. It might have landed in a bit of rough out there, I think. And Haris Sohail prods away at the pitch with an element of suspicion, but I suspect also with confidence as well. He'll be there, wanting to be there when the winning runs are hit, which I would imagine in a test match must feel pretty special. 19 for 1. And good to see Imam's okay. It's the first time I've ever seen somebody leave the field having been hit in an unfortunate place. In goes Broad. Bowls, and that's sliced for 4. That won't please Broad very much. In the air, past third slip, and down to third man for 4. But he was hit. I suppose in sort of Blackadder language, you might say codlings, something like that, wouldn't you? And then he went off. That was the thing, Tuffers. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
And then he went off, which I've never seen before, because normally the pain passes.
Yes.
But he was flat out. I mean, it was almost time for a stretcher bearer, and off he went. But he's
cold sponge.
Yeah.
And you're not too bad.
Go Broad around the wicket, and that's pushed away back to him and fielded in his left hand.
Have you done this facial recognition thing?
No, I wonder what people were laughing at.
It appears to me that anyone who has ever played Test cricket resembles Jeff Boycott.
So how does this work? Explain what it is.
Well, they take a picture of your face, and it's sort of like downstairs.
Right, I've not done any of that.
Yeah, no.
But outside?
Yes, it's outside,
right.
Yeah. And they sort of like then say who you look like who has played Test cricket. And I think it just always comes up Jeff Boycott.
Have you done it?
I haven't, but I think it's going to come up Jeff Boycott. Vaughan has done it, a couple of other chaps I know have done it.
How did Michael Vaughan's come up then?
Jeff Boycott.
No.
Yeah, Jeff Boycott, a little bit of me.
Didn't come up Michael Vaughan?
80%.
80%. Well, that sounds all a bit dodgy to me. 23 for 1. Broad round the wicket on his way to the left-handed Haris Sohail, who drives. That's a handsome stroke.
Yeah.
Through the covers, and to a great cry of Pakistani glee, hits the boundary board in front of the grandstand. Yes, well.
He looks a fine player, this Haris.
He does, actually, yes.
Yeah, he does. He loves hitting it through the offside. I mean, he got a big nick just earlier on, flew past Ben Stokes, but he likes to hit through the offside, and he gets that foot to it, and through it goes.
A little bit open face, that one, but it certainly went away nicely. So, 27 for the loss of that one wicket. Azhar Ali, bowled by Anderson. Broad, runs in, bowls wide of the off stump, and Harris this time isn't tempted. So just to wrap up the details, Andrew, from earlier, England lost, was it 4 for 7 on the day?
4 for 7 on the day, and
in how many?
In 25 balls.
25 balls.
And 4 for 6 in 18 balls, wicket to wicket.
Right, these are the sort of things, unfortunately, I have to make notes of. 4 for 7 in 25 balls.
It is kind of the way, though, isn't it? As you say, new ball in your hand, the bowlers have had a good rest up. You've got to start again.
Yep. Well, you
kind of inevitable.
You dare to dream.
Yes, you do.
Broad, round the wicket, bowls wide again. And there's no stroke from Sahel. He just raises that. He's got his couple of boundaries in that over. One, a carved stroke through third man, the other through the covers. Meanwhile, on our Radio 4 long wave, we're going to have the shipping forecast. 27 for 1. No sign of the showers either. There was a chance, apparently, this morning of there being one in this area, but I can't see anything brewing or building up. And were you disturbed by the rain? I suspect you probably weren't disturbed by the storms, were you? You normally sleep like a log.
Well, yeah, no, we did see a few good old booms and flashes in the in the night sky.
I thought once you settled down, that was it. That's why you were called the cat.
Yeah, I know, but no, there was a good light show going on.
Was there?
Yeah, no, you didn't see it at all.
Well,
a couple of glasses of red gone.
Well, I did. Had a very nice steak, 2 glasses of red wine, then went to sleep. But however, I have got, you know, how occasionally I was given the thought once, and I might still do this. And I haven't. So I'm going to have to go back to my room and sort something out in a moment. Of actually, there is a book out there on views from hotel bedroom windows.
Right.
Don't you think? I mean, there are some very nice views, and there are some actually, quite frankly, some rather ugly views that you can have. A lot of train tracks,
car parks,
absolutely. Bess is in the attack. His first ball's outside the off stump, and there's no stroke offer by Imam ul Haq. There's a couple of slips there.
Try and get.
They've got to attack really. And there's a short leg. Got to try and get Bess off the mark here with a wicket as well, which would do him good. And here he comes again from the pavilion end, round the wicket, bowls, and that's pushed away into the offside. The other very frequent view that you have, in my experience from hotel windows, is just a brick wall about 3 feet away.
Yes.
And that's what I have here. And so I can't see the sky.
No.
I can just see the pavement if I really look down carefully. And that turned out of the rough.
Hello.
A little flicky drive from Imam ul Haq, and the ball spun past the outside edge.
Hello.
That'll tighten him up a little bit.
Yeah, great delivery by Bess. Just wide, as you said, perhaps just hit a foothold, but it did jag.
Yeah, he definitely hit a foothold. It ruffled up, there's an explosion of dust there. Encourage him, he comes in again. Bowl's quite flat, and that's flicked away, though. I suspect that'll come down to the boundary. Probably off the bat. And let's have a look. Or is it leg bys? No, it's runs. And he did fire that, I must say. It was a quick ball for an off-spinner. And Malan couldn't stop it, so at the boundary.
That's probably why you didn't see any of the night.
I had a couple of red wines, and B, there was absolutely no way of seeing anything outside the window anyway.
No.
So that does explain why I woke up with some surprise towards news today. Here's Bess, and that's floated up. That's better. It's driven at that, and it's spun again. Missed everything. It's missed the bat. It's missed the slip fielder. It's coming down to third man. The despairing chase. And they're going to come back here for, I assume, what a buys they are. 3 of them. That did turn again. It's all happening a bit wide. I mean, I think if Imam was playing for a draw, he wouldn't have been flashing the bat at that. He missed it by miles.
Just tossed it up a bit more. Just took the pace off of it, allowed it to turn. And
really went, but out of the rough and very wide. Welcome back to our long wave listeners. A bit of excitement here. Dom Bess has come on. He's turned 2 balls very sharply, both quite wide and out of the rough. And he's also conceded runs and buys through them. Here's the next ball, though. Haris Sahel turns that away out to mid-wicket. So the bottom line is that no wickets have fallen and that Pakistan just need 30 more, no, in fact 29 now, more runs to win. So that's the situation. And they're heading towards, well, a famous victory for them. How many wins have they had here at Lord's, Andrew?
Well, this will be their 5th win at Lord's against 4 losses. And the only other team that's got more wins than losses against England at Lord's is Australia, 15 wins and 7 losses.
There we go.
Played well.
And to repeat the one that you said yesterday, this will be, I think we say some certainty now, England's first defeat in their first home test of a season since 1975. 1995, sorry, 95. So, yes. A long time, isn't it? 23 years.
That's right. And of course also just the second time England will have lost a home test that began and ended in May.
Yeah.
The other one being 1921.
Yes, you're pleased with that one now, aren't you? You pulled that one out.
Keep trotting that one out.
Well,
it's
these
a beauty.
these stats are... I suppose on the one hand, though, Tuffers, while a really exciting finish would have been great, and, Pakistan just crept over the line, 2 wickets, full house and everything else, because of what we've seen, as part of it thinks, I just muddied a bit of water. I mean, what we've seen here over these 3 and a bit days is a very disciplined, very well drilled, very well organised, very skilled Pakistan side, plays a lovely cricket against a bit of a shambles.
Yeah.
And that might have just disguised that, because what we've seen from England has been pretty unacceptable, frankly.
Yeah.
Attitude, the way they played.
Yeah.
Very disappointing. 35 for 1. In goes Wood, bowls a bouncer first ball and falls over at the same time. And I'm going to excuse Butler's batting, and Bess, I think, shown a great attitude, very positive. Cook played well in the first innings.
There seems to be something lacking, doesn't there?
There does.
But, because all these guys are talented cricketers, but they're just not coming together for some reason and performing. It's all about getting the performance out of the players on the park.
I don't understand this. I know for some people find it trivial, but I promise you, when you have played the game, things like these fields moving around, the personnel does bother you. Here's Wood, that's turned away past Root, who's now at short leg, whereas Cook was there much of the first innings, and that goes down to deep square leg. Things like that disturb me, because you have to get used to the angles. You simply you only get used to the angles of fielding by fielding there, and when they've had Stoneman doing it for so long, I don't think he did a bad job. I didn't think he had many chances, but I mean, he has been training and training and training. Okay, they've decided that he's not going to do it for whatever reason, but then for people to share that job, which Cook and Root have done, when first slip is such a key position, such a key position. Anderson's been in first slip for a while and been at third slip. Here's Wood, and he bowls short of a length, and Imam's on his back foot, and things like that. When first slip and third slip are completely different positions. The first slip's got to have a relationship with the keeper. He's got to look at the ball coming down, find the edge of the bat to catch it. It's a very skilled position. Third slip, completely different. You're looking at the bat, different angles again, against a crowd often, whereas first slip's got often the sight screen behind him, so it makes it easier. But it's just, why are people stopping around for positions, the key positions? There's things like that I don't understand. Here's Wood, over the wicket, bowls a bouncer, and Imam ducks underneath it.
The other thing is, of course, that we might not be quite as good as we think we are.
Do you think?
It's simple as that.
You see, I was saying this to Jeffrey yesterday, and even Jeffrey agreed, actually. The problem with this job, in a way, and what you're doing, is that you can say what has gone wrong out in the middle, but it's very hard without guessing to say, and it's because X.
Exactly.
You are, until you're in that dressing room and you're part of it, you're just guessing, really. You can sack who you want. Here's Wood, and Imam sways out of the way, but you are only really, until you are in that dressing room and have an intimate knowledge of what is going on and the preparations and the talks that they have and the things they're trying to do and all the drills that they go through and the training and the practice, until you are actually pretty intimate on all that, then anything else you're just guessing, and there'll be lots of sack Bayliss coming up. Well, okay, possibly, but you don't know that that's the reason. Here's Wood round the wicket, bowls, and that's good ball. It went through with some pace actually to Imam, who was a bit off balance there as he swayed out of the way. End of the over, and it's 36 for 1, so Pakistan need 28 more runs to win.
And cricket is the best game for that, isn't it? Because you can go out there and get 150 on the Monday and go out there on the Wednesday and get a first baller, isn't it? So there's no hard and fast rules about anything, but it does make me laugh in the morning, though. You see those Pakistan bowlers steaming in, hitting cones, hitting lengths, the coaches there and everything like that. You always turn around, we're playing football.
I know.
It's
an easy one to point to again, the football, isn't it? Because they all say, but it's great for team spirit. We get out there, we loosen up. It's good fun. It gets us all together, and sort of buy that argument for a while, which is fine until the performance slips, and then you do point to the discipline on one side.
Exactly. it's very telling in the mornings, the way teams warm up.
Yeah.
You can get a really good feel for the, as you say, camaraderie, discipline, drive of a team, just by the way they loosen up almost.
In comes Bess and bowls on leg stump, and that's an easy one to pick off for Harris. Sahel will get a couple out to deep mid-wicket. So fielded by Malan.
Well, I think Michael might be off his long run on Tuffers and Vaughan.
Is he?
On Monday, yes. 9 o'clock if you want to listen.
Oh.
I think we might be getting stuck in. We might get the whiteboard out and the stick.
Oh, that'll be exciting. Bess bowls, driven up to short cover, not stopped cleanly. But there's no run. Oh.
No, I know, so we might be getting...
Well, there'll be lots of people stuck in bank holiday traffic, no doubt, who'll be grumpy as well, so it might be a bit of a grumpy evening.
Yeah, could well be.
Oh, good stuff, Tuffers.
Something's got to be said.
Yeah.
It's been going on for too long.
Yeah, this is Bess again. Bowls, that spins away from Sahel. It's going to Bairstow's gloves there, standing up.
Well, the batting side of it's been going on for too long for me.
But you see, isn't it also quite interesting how if you're going to, if people will point the finger at the coach like they always do, and you know, who knows if that's right or wrong? But they will. Bayliss and co will have people demanding their sacks and so on. Here's Sahel, but then he's the one who's responsible supposedly for turning England's one-day cricket around. So. You know, is it
time for the old split coach system?
But how come he's successful at motivating apparently one set of players but not another? I mean, that's why again that doesn't possibly seem quite right. Now that's a very quick ball from Bess.
Wow.
But it's a beautiful stroke from Sahel on the back foot. Has just creamed that through the covers for 4. It's a lovely shot, and that was. I'm not sure what that. It was 60 miles.
60 miles an hour.
I don't know what that was. Whether it slipped out of his hand or something, I don't know. But
it might have been the arm ball.
It was like an exocet.
Yeah.
I did tell him spinning terms.
Yes, I did tell him the other day, you know, just try and, slow everything down a bit. I mean, it's very easy just to keep rushing through your over and quicker and quicker and quicker. You tossed your one up.
Here's again bowling, and that's pushed back at him. But you see, Tuffers, like everyone else, he doesn't listen to you.
Well,
he's ignored what you've had to say. It's very nice of you to offer that advice.
He did toss a couple up that got the turn, didn't he? So, no, I think that was an arm ball which he just dragged down.
It was certainly quick.
Yeah, it was 60. I don't think I could bowl 60 off 25 paces.
42 for 1, 22 more needed. No, I don't know. These things are never straightforward. If they're straightforward, they'd be sorted out.
Yeah.
But the same coach who we're getting the rap for this is doing a great job in one-day cricket. And so...
Should we bring that up on Tuffers and Vaughan?
I think you should.
Yeah?
I think it's a subject to discuss.
That, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, John. And the others will be happily received.
Yeah.
Topics to talk about.
42 for 1. Then goes Wood again. Bowls just flying through to Bairstow. Of course, there are personnel involved in the Test team that are not in the one-day team.
Yes.
Is that younger, fresher players in the one-day team?
Yeah, perhaps. Captain.
There are all these things come into it, don't they? All issues. And we don't, until you're in it.
Yeah.
It's difficult to guess, really. 42 for 1. Here's Wood bowling on leg stump, turned away to wide, mid-on Anderson fields.
I think the difference between one-day cricket and Test cricket is one-day cricket is all about letting yourself go, free yourself up, let's have a bit of fun, let's all relax and, let your talent do the talking on the pitch. When Test cricket, it's got to be a lot tighter, hasn't it? It's got to be, leave outside off stump, hit those areas. So it's a completely different sort of mindset than I think the coach has to portray to the players.
Here's Wood. Bowls, and that's steered away out to cover. Yes, the consequences of somebody playing a booming drive in a one-day game and getting out isn't the same as the consequences of someone playing a booming drive on a green top on the first day of a Test match and getting out.
So perhaps in Test match cricket, they come in and old Trevor just sort of goes, okay, well, not to worry, Had a go at it, you nicked it,
Might do, but we're guessing, aren't we?
Yeah, we are guessing. Totally. Yeah. Always guessing.
Yeah. The man who never guesses is Andrew Sampson.
No.
He's got something to say because he's clutching his microphone.
Go on, have a guess.
42 for 1. In goes Wood, that's played off the back foot by Imam again, a short ball. What you never hear Andrew saying is it's possible. I just think maybe this could happen.
I'm not a man to give guesses, but I can give you the facts.
Exactly.
Trevor Bayliss in one-day internationals, 57 times he's coached England. England have won 38 and lost 16.
Wow, good.
This is his 41st Test match. England have won 15 and they will have lost 20 by the end of it.
Yeah, it's starting to get the wrong way round, isn't it?
Absolutely it is. I mean that's a really good one-day record there. And going into a World Cup, that's...
from nowhere as well.
Yeah.
From absolutely the depths.
That's proper form.
Well, we're favourites.
Yeah.
I'd say, wouldn't you?
Stuart Broad moving down there. He's rushing down to third man. And they're going here for a short tactic. And they've got a... Well, now Cook, you see, is catching close in the offside. In goes Wood, bowls outside the off stump, and Imam allows that to go by. So, who's that at slip now? Is that Butler at slip? Or is it Malan at slip? I can't see, it's so far away. We've got Cook and Root with helmets on around the bat. No, Malan's at backwards square leg. Where's Butler? I think that might be Butler at slip. He's been in the gully most of the time. 42 for 1. In goes Wood round the wicket. Another short ball. Imam knew it was coming, simply swayed out of the way, and it's taken by the wicketkeeper. So the end of the over. 42 for 1. Pakistan need 22 more to record a famous victory here at Lord's. I can't see anything derailing them at the moment. Phil Tufnell and then Alison Mitchell.
A monsoon, perhaps. That's the only thing, as you say, they've come out and again played nicely against the new ball. Jimmy Anderson, what a beauty to Azhar Ali, knocked his off peg back, but apart from that, they've played very nicely, and it's coming to an end. Ali,
hello, Tuffers. I'm joining you for the last rights. I'm
Yeah,
22 needed to win. Best around the wicket now, and it's allowed to go into the gloves of Bairstow by Haris Sohail. 3 around the bat, as well as catcher at short extra cover.
And a shame because there's a few in.
There are. Noted that ticket prices, the cheapest for a non-restricted view was 50 quid today. Best around the wicket again. It's a low full toss as it dips on the batsman. He's driven it down the ground towards the pavilion. It's going to get there for 4. Broad is chasing after it with all his might, but he won't get there. And that certainly hurries things along. Pakistan need only 18 more to win now. 46 for 1, and Harris moves on to 24.
Anything you'd like to bring up, or any sort of?
Well, just I was
Tuffers and Vaughan.
Oh, for Tuffers and Vaughan.
Yes,
So you're there this afternoon, or this evening, rather.
No, Monday evening.
Monday evening. Right. Well, I think there's a few talking points.
Well, yeah.
Best sunglasses on to the wicket and bowls again, shaping to play. Sohail lets it go into the gloves of the keeper. Well, I was just thinking I know you'll be England and the batting and
usual stuff.
Yes, pretty much what you talked about over the winter.
Yeah.
I was actually just thinking about Mickey Arthur and how he's engineered a couple of victories over England at Lord's, again outside the off stump, and Sohail lets it go into the gloves of Bairstow, because he was in charge. If you can think back to 2012 when South Africa, a famous victory over England at Lord's, that was quite a summer of discontent for England. It was the summer which brought about the resignation of Andrew Strauss, and Mickey Arthur was in charge then as well. Bairstow a little wide of the crease, and that's been drilled hard through extra cover along the ground, out towards the boundary, in front of the Allen stand for 4. And Pakistan are motoring towards their victory target. They're 50 for 1. They need just 64 to win.
I like the look of this Harris.
He's not mecking around, is he?
No, he doesn't, but he just looks a really class player to me. He loves that off drive, gets back and clips it off the hip as well, off the seam bowlers as well, but I think he fancies a big lunch.
He's 29 years old. This only his 4th Test match at best. Using his feet this time, and he's looking for the similar shot, the drive, this time only as far as mid-off, so a dot ball.
I reckon he's had a look at the menu, and he's gone, I quite fancy that. I just want to give myself an extra 10 minutes, just to let it go down. 14
more needed to win then at the end of the over. 50 for 1, Harris on 28, Imam on 13. Andrew, good morning to you.
Good morning. A bit of bad news for you. It was actually Gary Kirsten was the South African coach in 2012.
See, that is bad news. that has ruined my...
Mickey Arthur was the Pakistan coach 2 years ago when they won at Lord's, though.
Yes, well, he was. Well, that's another note for Pakistan, because they've now managed, I suppose, back-to-back wins at Lord's. I wonder how many teams managed that, come here and travelled away on consecutive tours, won at Lord's both times. But the Aussies managed that, didn't they, without question?
I think I might have been involved in a couple of those.
Have you tried to erase those from your memory, Tuffers?
Yeah.
Here's the new over then. Mark Wood, 14 needed for Pakistan to win. Forced away off the back foot past Silly Point out into the deep. There's no one there, so it's a big chase for Ben Stokes.
3.
Now we'll run through quite comfortably. Stokes picks up in the deep and send the ball back into the middle.
Any ideas for what all these lovely people who have come down to see the game to do this afternoon?
Well, we're central London on a sunny Sunday afternoon. Bank holiday Monday coming up as well. You're right across the road from Regent's Park, aren't you, in the zoo?
Yes.
Got the canal, actually, Warwick Avenue.
Nice bit
Regent's
of lunch
Canal down there.
Yeah.
You could hop on the tube into town and explore the delights of Soho. I had an evening in Soho the other night, actually. There's Wood around the wicket bouncer. Ducking underneath it is Haris Sohail. And lets it go through to Johnny Bairstow. The IPL final is this evening, is it? Well, this afternoon even, yeah.
Oh, yes.
3 o'clock. A few people maybe might find somewhere to watch that.
Chennai Super Kings for me. Dhoni.
I would probably agree with you, actually.
I like Dhoni.
No, I wouldn't mind betting, though. I don't really know what the protocol is, actually, after the close of play, how long people can stick around, Lords, because, you know, lovely picnic out the back on the nursery ground. Wood in, around the wickets, the flick of the wrist, turning it past short leg. And Sohail goes through for 1 onto 29. Just 10 more needed to win.
Have a little wander out into the middle. Don't walk on the pitch or the square, obviously, but then just get the old blanket down at fine leg.
Well, that'd be all right, wouldn't it?
Pop a bubble, yeah. Have a little glass of bubbles.
Mick Hunt, the groundsman, might have something to say about that.
Wow, did they do that one year?
Well, they have allowed perambulations, haven't they?
Perambulation.
Just allowing people to come onto the outfield during the lunch break or the tea break in a controlled, orderly fashion.
Of course.
Now, silly point down on his knees there. But this one's thumped out along the ground, out to the offside through mid-off. And again, Ben Stokes from mid-on has to make up a bit of ground to cut it off. And Pakistan now need just 8 runs to win at 56 for 1. And he's poised with microphone.
Australia won 3 in a row at Lords against England, and between 85 and 93. And South Africa also won 3 in a row, 94, 98 and 03. Australia also won 2 in a row a couple of other times. West Indies as well, and Pakistan actually did it in 92 and 96 too.
Everyone's had a go.
Yeah, history repeating itself for Pakistan though, managing it a second time here. Short one from Wood. And that was a good short ball actually, because it didn't get up enough that Imam could leave it with comfort, and he ended up actually right down on his knees as he swayed and had to really sink down in quite athletic fashion actually to evade that one.
I think it's the way that England have been beaten as well, though, don't you think? I mean, it's completely out.
Only one session in the entire match where they have been on top.
And you have that whiteboard in the dressing room saying, come on, we've got to win this session. So it's all there.
Wood in again. It's angled into the ground. Wood will pick up in his follow-through into the offside. And just, well, of course, if you're listening to us on 5 Live Sports Extras, that's the end of the over with Pakistan needing 8 more to win. When we finish here and close of play and the end of the match is nigh. You can keep listening, because once we've brought you the presentation and all the interviews, of course, a bit more analysis on where we go from here. Worcestershire against Lancashire is the featured game in the One Day Cup, which we'll be bringing to you on 5 Live Sports Extra. So no need to turn your radios off. You can still have cricket all day for the rest of today for that
match. In the garden?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? Sitting on the hammock.
It's a barbecue kind of day, isn't it? As long as it doesn't deteriorate into the sort of weather we had last night at about 10:30. That was violent.
It was.
Hailstones, lightning.
It's a chilled Sunday afternoon.
I think so.
Keep the cricket on.
Yeah. But for England, it is going to be a chastening defeat. They haven't lost the first test of the summer in England since 1995.
They should be keeping their heads down, Ali, I think. You know, this should hurt.
Dom Bess then from the pavilion end, and Pakistan need 8 more runs, 3 around the back, doing 2 slips, full toss. This is launched high towards the grandstand, clearing the boundary, and that's gone about 10 or 12 rows back.
Wow.
And Pakistan are 2 away from victory now. Now, was that caught in the crowd? I'm not sure.
Might have been. Someone's giving a wave.
It's quite a bit of celebration going on in that part of the stand from the England supporters, and it definitely probably wasn't in celebration of the 6, but he's just got down on one knee, connected so cleanly. What a strike.
Chennai full toss, to be fair.
And it got the treatment it deserved, but here is Bess again, around the wicket. Pakistan needing 2, going back, tempting to cut, missing. And into the gloves of Bairstow. Well, he's had some interesting test match with Dom Bess, hasn't he? Because he has clapped off the field to a standing ovation last night and now hammered into the grandstand. And now bowling, dot ball, as Pakistan need just 2 to win.
Yeah, I mean, difficult for his bowling, you know. I mean, this situation, the
There's
game's
nowhere to
gone,
go, is
and
there?
then first dig, you rolled out for 180 on a bit of a green top. How are you going to make an impression on that? So...
In he comes, Pakistan needing 2. He's fired that one
That's
down
it.
the leg side. He's into the onside up towards the grandstand. And Pakistan have won here at Lord's emphatically by 9 wickets. And the 2 not-out batsmen, Haris Sohail and Imam Ul Haq, embrace in the middle of the pitch at Lord's. Applause rings out, and that is a happy, happy balcony up there in the pavilion. And why not? Because Pakistan have inflicted on England defeat in the first test of an English summer for the first time since 1995. There is an awful lot for England to ponder in a very short amount of time before they have to turn around and do it all again at Headingley on Friday.
absolutely walloped, I'm afraid. Out-batted, out-bowled, out-fielded, out-everythinged, out-warmed up in the morning. As you say, that Pakistan balcony, all high fives, all hugs, and I'm afraid England, that should be really, really hurting, because it has been a very, 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 very poor performance all round, I'm afraid.
Well, it's all over within an hour and a half on this 4th day.
Very, very poor.
A day that began with Jos Buttler and Dominic Bess out in the middle, having given England something to cheer about last night. And the last 4 England wickets fell very quickly for just 7 runs and 25 balls in flight inside that first half hour. And then the run chase, 64 runs to win, and Pakistan have won comfortably. This is the moment the 2 batsmen are being clapped off the field.
What a feeling.
What a moment for
What
them.
a feeling. Yeah, running up those Lord's Pavilion steps with a win under your belt doesn't get any better than that. They will be absolutely delighted in that Pakistan dressing room and thoroughly deserved it. I might even go and say I don't think I've seen England play that badly for a long time. Because there were little bits and pieces in Australia that were kind of decent, weren't there? We got some scores. We got a 350, and sort of there were times in those Test matches where we put Australia under pressure. At no time were Pakistan particularly put under any pressure at all during this game.
Because even the century stand between Bess and Buttler,
it was almost inevitable.
It needed to be a double 100 stand, didn't it, to actually transfer pressure back onto Pakistan. I mean, and this morning, as I said, that flicker of hope of what perhaps could have been if something more extraordinary could happen, if they could add another 50 might have made things a little bit more interesting, but it's even
snubbed out.
How many balls, past the edge, or how many chances created this morning? Pakistan under no pressure with the run chase.
Yeah. But then, as you say, that slight glimmer of hope that, that session that we did win last night, was then snuffed out, what was it, 28 balls?
Yep.
Or something like that.
In the first, the new ball was taken very quickly, but in fact, Jos Buttler was out the 8th ball of the day, even with the old ball. That was LBW Mohammad Abbas, and he has bowled beautifully throughout this season. I read, actually, this morning, Mohammad Abbas used to work in a leather factory. I think he's even been a professional cricketer.
No wonder he knows his way around a cricket ball.
But yeah, Mohammad Abbas, 4 wickets for him. He took 4 for 41 in the second innings. And Andrew
Man of the match for me.
Figures, I was about to say so, I think. Looking at his match figures, Andrew, what are they?
8 for 64 in 31 overs.
8 for 64 in 31 overs.
Well bowled, that man. And Mohammad Amir, 4 for 36. In England's second innings. So Jos Buttler was out the 8th ball of the day, LBW to Abbas, and then Mark Wood, that was the first over with the new ball. Mohammad Amir caught behind, and the final wicket, Dom Bess, the 6th ball that he faced in the morning, was out-bowled by Amir. Waqar.
Hello, smiling Waqar Younis.
You are looking very, very happy.
What a performance.
From your perspective, put this victory into context. Pakistan's first test of this series, first test of the summer for England, Lords, a ground where in these early season test matches it's expected to be, such a fortress to them. How big is this?
Look, the track record Pakistan over here at Lords is always been up there. I mean, we are 5-4 now. We have won more games here at Lords, but I think this victory is bigger than all the others, because if you
collectively look at the test matches they have played, this young Pakistan team is basically nothing. You know, they're very young. 7 of them have not played at Lord's before or played in England before this. So that is something very unusual, I would say. They have done everything right to win this test match. Apart from losing one session, Hafiz, one session, they have really dominated this. They caught well, they bowled extremely well. Very impressed with Abbas, Hassan Ali picking up 4 wickets in the first inning, really putting England on the back foot. England may be a little bit complacent at time, but yeah, full marks, full credit. Mickey Arthur, well done.
Yeah, and as you say, and that one session that perhaps England did nick, you then come out this morning and wrapped it up in about 25 minutes. You know, you put that right within a very, very short space of time. I think 4 for 16. You know, so
yeah,
I think we've been completely outplayed.
Yeah,
completely batting, bowling, and fielding.
But I'm sure they will bounce back. They're a very fine side, England. But yeah, for now, I think this team deserves all the credit. They have really put in serious effort. Right now, in that England dressing room, those players are hurting. They're probably very gutted. Their heads are down. You know, they're very experienced side. Don't forget that. They have played, you know, a lot more Test cricket, and at home, early season, it was not expected.
How much credit do you give to Mickey Arthur? Preparation. The camp in Lahore, Pakistan's schedule coming out here, the matches they've played, the Test match against Ireland. And then I'm going to hand over to Simon Wacker.
Sure.
I'll see you in a moment.
Sure. I think the credit should be given to, for sure, Mickey Arthur deserves all the credit. PCB deserves credit because to organize such a tour where they had opportunity to come early season and prepare themselves, play some warm-up games and play a test match in Ireland. I think that really done them wonders. You know, we're not very known for a very good catching team, but that really surprised me the way we caught in this game. The energy level was right up there.
Fielding, throwing yourselves about.
Everything was just perfect. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Couldn't agree more.
We're going to go over to Jonathan Agnew on the far side of the ground in a short while and hear the reaction from those involved, including Joe Root, England's captain. Rather sobering day for him.
Absolutely, especially after the winter. I mean, I heard him say in the interview, this is where we can start to put that winter right. You know, it starts here. This is what we're going to, we're going to show what we're all about. And I think going to Headingley, you know, you're saying that this England side is an experienced side, full of class players, which it is, but what are they going to do different? We know what Pakistan are going to do, and they're going to do exactly what they did here, but can England now raise that? Can they put those big wafty off drives away? You know, can they hold a line and hold a length? I'm not sure whether they can.
Look, last time it was a very similar story. Pakistan won the test match here, and we saw England made a big comeback, big double 100 from Joe Root. So they're definitely capable. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, what they have done in this test match, if they come back and do the same again with similar bowling, England will be in problem again. They have to really fix their issues. They have to really be more disciplined. And also what they did wrong was in the first inning, the way they bowled. I think they really sorted that out.
But this has been going on for quite some time now.
Okay.
You know, so you're saying you learn as a cricketer. You're always learning, crikey. You know, learn from your mistakes. But these mistakes seem to keep happening.
Yeah. Then I guess it's time for changes. Yeah. You need to bring some new faces, I guess.
What about changes, Toughest, for the next game?
Crikey,
it's a bit early.
It's just
the emotion of defeat. What?
I think that's the worst I've seen England play for a long, long time. In all departments, the fielding dropped 5 or 6 catches, the bowling got the toss wrong, batting rolled over for 150. That's a good pitch. That is a good batting pitch.
Maybe it's not the time to make changes, but yeah, if
it might be an attitude change.
Yeah, you need an attitude change. But if they go to Headingley and makes the same mistakes, that means you're not ready to learn after all these test matches. These guys have played, hundreds and hundreds of test matches in that camp. And if they don't learn from that, and if they don't put it right, then I guess you start thinking, okay, maybe time to move on.
400. We need 400. When was the last time we got a 400 batting first, or a 380 or something batting first? Just doesn't seem to happen anymore.
Well, I think it happened a couple of times in India, but the problem is then they got 600 and 700.
Well, there you go. But let's just start. You've got to start with foundations. foundations in anything, and we are not starting with foundations. We seem like we're an impatient sort of cricket side. You know, we want to always be getting runs quickly and sort of trying to get on top of the opposition. This is Test cricket. You have to earn that. Same with the ball. We want to be bowling sort of away swinging in swingers and all this kind of stuff. You've just got to you've got to go back to a little bit of basics. I think this England side needs to go back to basics a bit.
Michael made a very good point. I thought a really interesting point about about the Pakistan bowling attack. You know, they'll go to Headingley and you couldn't see them getting any worse because it's a very simple, disciplined method they've got.
Pitch up, swing.
I was asked this question this morning, that how Pakistani bowlers are going to behave this morning. They're not robot, they can make mistakes. And I said, yes, they can. But the thing is, it's a massive incentive winning a test match for a young team here at Lord's. So they're not going to make mistakes. They're going to come hard. They're not going to give easy deliveries to Butler and Bess, and they're going to really make sure they take a new ball and they'll bowl nice and straight, and they will look to pick up early wickets.
Okay, thanks very much,
thank
gentlemen. Thank you, Waka and Tuffers. Let's head to the far side of the ground now. Jonathan's over there in front of the pavilion, and he's got Michael Vaughan with him.
You know, something's always such a shame when you come down to this part of the ground and the sun's shining. It's warm, and it really is warm down here. Got a good crowd, but the cricket's over. It just a bit of an empty, hollow feeling, really, and you can't help but look around the ground and feel sorry for people who've paid the money, unless maybe you're a Pakistan supporter and perhaps you're just quite happy to have seen that famous victory here. But it's a beautiful early afternoon. Not even halfway through the fourth day, and it's all over. So we're waiting inevitably for Joe Root, who will come down and be interviewed by me and by our colleagues on Sky over there. I'm not quite sure what the order is going to be. I am going to have to ask him one question, I think, about these allegations that have been made overnight, really, about some spot-fixing allegations involving 3 England players who've not been named. But, however, the allegations have been made, so that'll be, again, a rather uncomfortable question, perhaps, although he'll probably just say, well, it's under an investigation, that's the end of it. But anyway, that's what we're waiting for. Michael Vaughan is here. We're taking his jacket off. Well, it is true, isn't it? Come down here, and it's just a bit of a shame. The whole thing's over. Should have been a good game of cricket going on.
Yeah, but it's the England Test team. It's a team that has so much talent. You know, you look at the names in that 11, Aggers. You've got Alistair Cook, one of our greatest, Anderson Broad, 2 of our greatest, if not the greatest bowling partnership. Joe Root, wonderful player. Ben Stokes, fantastic all-rounder. Josh Butler. I mean, you've got star quality in that team, and you know, for too long now we've been just saying that this Test match team just doesn't seem to be able to play with any kind of consistency. And what they've got to do this week, they have to take their minds back to 2 performances last year against South Africa. After a lot of criticism, they played at Trent Bridge. They were atrocious. Very similar to this week, got blown away. They went to the Oval. They went to Old Trafford after that, and they played, do you know what, it was boring. They played boring Test match cricket because conditions told them that they had to play the old-fashioned disciplined way. They haven't been prepared to play that way for long enough. You know, they weren't prepared to do that on day 1 here when the ball was doing it, but they weren't prepared to play the boring way. You know, Test cricket is 5 days because you are allowed to have periods where you don't have to look to score. You say to the bowler, right, you come to me. You come to me. I'm not going to come at you. Who's going to crack first? Pakistan, on the other foot, have given the benchmark and the DNA of how to play Test match cricket basics. Basic length, you bowl full, your set fields are pretty basic, nothing out of the box. Captain in England, when the ball's zipping around, you just keep it dead simple. You play the quarter, you start with 4, they play well, you go to 3, then you go to 2. It's a real simple. 85% of the time bowling onto the batsman's front foot. That's what Pakistan have done. They've attacked the stump, off stump, brought the batsman forward, held the chances, look very together, they look very well coached, they look very well drilled. They've got great strategies for all the England players. On the other foot, you know, I'm sorry, the finger now has to start looking at the coaching of the England Test match team. Too long we're seeing this kind of performance where you look and the strategies just don't look like they've been talked about. I mean, they probably have, and I'm sure they have, but you know, until the team go out there and play more of a cohesive unit. In one-day cricket, as we watch, and look like they know the roles. Everybody, even if they make a personnel change, they know that the roles are X or Y. They look like they've got partnership with the bat. They look like they've got partnership with the ball. They look like they're hunting packs in the field. Again, basics of the game. In the test arena, I don't see that.
But that's the same coaching staff. I mean, the thing that's different is the personnel in the team. That's what seems to me to be the main difference between the test team and the one-day international team. And there's that case. I know we talked about it over the last couple of days, but again today, towards the end, Alistair Cook is out of slip. He's at short leg. Joe Root suddenly appeared close in the offside, and Josh Butler's now at first slip. I mean, they've all had a go. I don't get it.
Well, it's just roll up, isn't it? Roll up, roll up. Who wants to be in the cordon? It's generally the basics in Test match cricket are very well drilled on the coaching ground. You know, I'm sure they're saying all the right things. The 3 days leading into this Test match, they trained hard. The practice looked tough. You know, they went through the kind of rigmarole of the bowlers really running in hard at all the batsmen. But then they go out in the middle and they just make mental errors. You know, technically, all the batsmen, there's one or two areas that you'd want to improve, but, you know, it's more the mind of the way that they're thinking about playing Test match cricket. And, you know, you're just looking at the kind of tactical manoeuvres around the week. There's one or two that you could question. It's more this collective unit that I'm starting to worry about in Test match cricket, that they're not collectively playing. There's the odd individual, like last night, the partnership, Josh Butler and Dominic Best, great. But I don't see that enough. I don't see that collective want and real desperation to do it as a team. You know, this is now, we've got to get the fact, this Test team are not a very good team, and they should be. If you play 10% under your potential, you go, all right, you've just had one of those weeks. 20%, I reckon this lot are playing 50, 60% under their potential. And that has been happening for a long period of time. You go back to last summer, they lost to the West Indies at Henley, a West Indian side. Yeah. That is probably and we said it at the time, it's probably the worst West Indies side that's been on this show for how long? Ever, correct. And they've lost a game. You know, they lose too many games of cricket. And it's not just losing. It's not like on the last session of the fifth day. They get hammered. You know, they've been absolutely hammered this week. And, you know, there's no... You know, they've got to accept that the next 2 days is going to be ugly for them. There's not going to be very many nice words about them. But what they've got to do is go, right, what did they do against South Africa at the Oval? What did they do against South Africa at Old Trafford? What have Pakistan done here? You know what, it's been boring. Boring basic cricket that works for you at Test match level.
It's interesting, and actually I think I might start off, I'm thinking when I asked Root, I might actually say we've been here before. We were here at Trent Bridge last year, and, you know, and there are a lot of similarities, aren't there, there, about the sort of the reckless batting and the rather rudderless, well, everything, frankly, and the fielding. I mean, all the catches dropped as well. 5 catches dropped on the second day. I mean, it's everything that's been so below par.
Yeah, and again, Agus, we look at these kind of performances, and if it happens in July, August, we don't get this in May. No. Now, these are England's conditions. These are conditions that, you know, you basically roll up and you just know that your ball full of length. You have to bat the hard yards for 30, 40 overs, give yourself a chance, and then you get 350 or 300 and you know you're in the game. And, you know, England, for whatever reason, they're clearly a team with a real loss of confidence. There's a real loss in that team of confidence, of knowing how to play and trust. The trust element of knowing how to play Test match cricket seems to have gone, but they have to go right back to the basics. You know, for me on that day one, they were trying to put the roof on the house without a foundation. You can't do that. Set the foundations, whether you've got the bat in hand, the ball in hand, just make sure that you cover the basics, and then you can sprinkle some cherries on the top. You know, but you can't in Test match cricket come out and play extravagantly without having that fundamental basic foundation first. And, you know, that's what they've got to go back to. They've got to be boring. Yeah. They've got to come back to saying, right, Test cricket, let's be boring for a day or two. And if we get to day 3 and we can up our gear and up our ante, well, great, but day 1 and 2, you know what? Be boring.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because here we are analysing this match, this game, and the frailties and the mistakes that we've seen made. Joe Root's coming down the steps now, by the way. But it isn't new. That's what's good. Interesting about this whole thing. You know, it's difficult to point at one particular thing. It looks like Trevor Bayliss is going to come and join us. Here he comes. Well, Trevor, we've kind of been here before. I was going to ask Joe Root that, but I've got you first. I mean, it rather brings to mind Trent Bridge of last year to mind, and a rather similar performance.
Yeah, look, obviously very disappointing. But, you know, I thought the Pakistan, you know, they bowled very well, and we weren't up to it with the bat.
What do you make of that first day? I mean, we might as well start with the decision to to bat first. I suppose there's obviously a lot of conversation out there about whether that was the right thing to do or not. Are you still happy with the decision that was made?
Oh yeah, I think it was one of those things, 50-50 sort of a call. You know, you can, if we bat better or we bat how we should have done. We saw today, even on the fourth day, the ball starting to go a little bit up and down. So if you bat better, look, I think the problem is that we didn't bat very well at all. Yes, it was going to be difficult for the first couple of hours, but we simply didn't bat well enough.
Yeah. What's frustrating is that that's becoming rather a familiar theme, but the ball, the way in which they batted. I mean, you can not bat well or not bat well, but the approach just seems so reckless.
Well, I'm not sure so reckless. Obviously,
booming drives on the rise on a green pitch.
Yeah, exactly. And we spend the whole time, working on, hitting the ball underneath your eyes and letting the ball come. We simply keep making the same mistakes. So, we've got a lot of hard work to be done, and we'll continue to work hard.
But presumably, it's the same hard work you've been doing for a while now. I mean, how do you get that message through?
Well, the messages haven't changed. So, it's, as you said, we've been working on the same things, and the guys, unfortunately keep making the same mistakes. But look, we've seen all of these guys score runs in difficult situations before, so they can do it. We've just got to be more. We've got to do it more often.
Yeah. What about Buttler particularly, actually? Because there's a lot of talk about his return to the team and lack of red ball cricket and all that sort of stuff. You know the questions that were raised, but I guess you're delighted with the way that he played. Actually, second innings, long way behind. That's what he's there to do.
Yeah, definitely. Look, he's a confidence player, and he's been hitting the ball well of late. We want him to play a little like he does in the white ball cricket. But I thought, look, the way he and Dom Bess yesterday started their innings, it was that first 20, 30 balls is very important, and I suppose it's a lesson that some of the other guys can learn from as well. They gave themselves a chance, and when they got in, they showed that it wasn't impossible to be batting on that wicket.
Can you explain some of the field personnel, the sort of shuffling around of people, and in quite unfamiliar territory sometimes? Alistair Cook suddenly finding himself at short leg, and James Anderson suddenly the first slip, and there seemed to be a lack of continuity in who fields where in that match.
Look, we've obviously had a bit of a change in personnel, and we haven't fielded well in the slips. Again, it's a little bit like the rest of our play. We have a good game and then we have a bad one. We need someone to field at short leg. I think Cook is thought of as probably our best short legger to the slippers. So that's he's in there then. Ruti's even had a go in there this time as well.
It looks like everyone's sort of having a go all over the place.
We're trying to. I suppose we're looking for who might be the best in each of the positions. I think. With Buttler and Bess in the team, I think it's probably the most agile and the most athletic we've been in the Test team for a while. But it's the catching that lets us down.
Just finally, Trevor, I have to ask you this question about these allegations that have been made by Al Jazeera, as you probably know now, about, including allegations of spot fixing by 3 England cricketers. They're unnamed. The match was named. It was the last Test match of the India tour in Chennai. What's your reaction to that?
The first I've sort of heard there was anything wrong with, supposedly wrong with that match. I think it's outrageous, to be honest. I'm not sure what's in. Haven't seen it. Heard it was going to be on. So look, we'll just leave that up to the ECB to deal with. It's, as I said, outrageous claims.
Thank you, Trevor. Thanks for your time.
Cheers.
See you again soon. Okay. Trevor Bayliss talking to me there. We've got the presentations going on behind. We'll have Joe Root in a moment. I think this time, unlike Trent Bridge, Trevor Bayliss to come out with his hands up there and said that things have got to get better. We put all those sort of points to him about the fielding and so on. Michael Vaughan's back again now. I don't know. What more can the coach say than we're trying to get things right? I mean, unfortunately, people won't be very happy with hearing that, but that's the fact. That's what he's got to try and do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a good guy, Trevor Bayliss, and he's worked wonders in the one-day arena. But we have to be honest, his record in Test match cricket is not what you'd expect.
And those roots, by the way.
No, absolutely. No, there's a. It looks to me like the team aren't listening. I'm sure the message from the coach and the captain is to play disciplined cricket, is to play the basic game. For whatever reason, the group is not listening. They're not going out and playing in that kind of fashion. So, there's problems. It's not this surprised that they perform like this. They perform like this on a regular basis, and my concern is when they lose, it's not just a loss, it's a hammering.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that they're just getting beaten by a wicket or two or a few runs, they're getting hammered.
Interesting to talk about not listening, because that clearly happens. Well, I guess it happens in football clubs. The manager gets cleared out, new one comes in, and suddenly, often you get a bit of a bounce, don't you? Happens, teachers will tell you in the classroom, oh, you know, this bloke's come and said exactly the same things I've been saying for 5 years, but suddenly they start to listen. It's the same message all the time. It is whether or not people are listening. Joe Root is coming over here again. Well, Joe, as I said to Trevor, we've been here before. At Trent Bridge we were here before, weren't we, last year with a sort of similar performance. How do you feel now about this one?
As I just said there, it's very disappointing. You know, we've been outperformed in all three departments. We've not batted well enough first innings in particular. You know, showed a bit of character in that second innings with the bat, but we have to be better. There's been a number of collapses recently. We've got to find a way as a group. You know, and that's a very individual thing, but ultimately working out there together, whether it's absorbing a bit of pressure on occasions, being a little bit more patient, and then taking our opportunities when we get them. Over longer periods of time, that's going to pay dividends for us, and we've got an opportunity to do that next week, and we just got to make sure that we take that chance.
Yeah. The approach of the batting on the first day, on a pitch is doing a bit. I mean, crikey, you're an international cricketer, Joe, and a very fine one. You know the argument, you know what I'm going to say. It seems such a reckless or over positive. I don't know, but I mean, the way England batted on that first morning, I guess I'm saying, it just didn't see the right approach at all.
I think. Yeah, I mean, as I said, we got it wrong. We got it wrong. We know we need to be better. We need to be better in these conditions, which suit us as well. That's why it's so disappointing. But we're not. You know, you look at that dressing room. It's a talented team, and there's plenty of guys in there that will do great things for England. And our next opportunity is to do that at Headingley. So we've got to turn things around. We've got to be clever about how we do things, and we've got to just be a little bit smarter in certain situations. If we get that right, you know, you've seen some of the performances the guys can do, especially at home. And yeah, look, it is disappointing. It's just making sure that we don't ignore this. We learn from it very quickly, but we also don't put too much pressure on ourselves to overchange things, because a lot of the things that we do are very good, and we just got to do them more often.
Yeah. Are you trying to be too positive? I mean, a team likes to be branded a certain type of team, doesn't it? Or they're a boring team, or whatever. And are you trying very hard to be a team that, you know, plays positively all the way through, given a challenging situation, and perhaps there isn't that flexibility when you've got to knuckle down a bit?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think we're a side that's ambitious and we want to win, and we've just, you know, sometimes make some poor decisions, and we've got to just be smarter with that. Simple as that, really. Guys have just got to find a way of scoring runs. Ultimately, it is about, you know, the amount of runs you score, not how long it takes you. And maybe on occasions we can absorb a little bit more pressure sometimes. We've seen, you know, in the past, guys like Ben Stokes come in at 40 for 4 and take a game away from a side and get us right back in things. So it's a fine margin. We've got to recognise the right times to do it. But, you know, as I said, we're a talented team. We've got some really good players in there, and we've got to bounce back now.
Have you had enough preparation? It's a familiar theme from me, but I mean, the Pakistan team actually played, I think, between 40-odd days more of first-class cricket than your team did. Is that an issue or not? Should you have all played a bit more cricket in the warm-up?
Well, I think we had some really good practice days here. Majority of the guys played 2 championship games at least going into this game. So in that respect, you'd like to think that the guys have got enough under their belt. You go into most series, I know it's normally as a collective group, but you have at least 2 games or 1 game going into any series. So I think that's an easy excuse to hide behind. I think the reality is we weren't good enough this week, and we were outperformed, which is, as I say, a bitter pill to swallow at home. But, you know, that's where we're at, and we've got to make sure we bounce back now.
Last one from me. I asked Trevor Bayliss this. You'll be aware of the allegations that have been made by Al Jazeera about spot fixing in the Chennai Test match in India against 3 England players. Can I just have your response to that?
Yeah, I'm aware there's a documentary. I mean, I think it's outrageous that England players have been accused of this. All the players have got the full backing of the ECB. And, you know, that's something really not not for the guys to worry about. We've got to concentrate on next week and make sure we're fully focused on and winning at Headingley. But it's an outrageous accusation, and I'm sure all the right channels will be taken by the ECB and the people that need to worry about it.
Thank you, Joe. We'll see you at Headingley on Thursday for the warm-up there. We're coming towards the end of our broadcast here. So, Michael, I mean, he's got a brave face on it. Again, what can he say?
Well, he can't say anything other than what he has said. They're doing all the right things. It's now down to the collective group getting together and understanding that what they've delivered for a long period of time is not the right way to go about playing Test match cricket. Take the memories back. I'll keep going on this next week about those two performances against South Africa. Similar situation. They didn't like the criticism, but it was deserved, and they're going to get a lot.
They're taking that a bit better today, actually. If you remember at Trent Bridge, Trevor Bayliss came out and tried to be a bit clever, and the crowd were booing, and Root was pretty honest there.
Yeah, and they have to accept that it's not going to be pretty reading and pretty listening for a few days. And whatever the mentality of the side a year ago, it's at the Oval, and they arrived and played ugly, real grind-it-out cricket that afternoon when it was gloomy, and Ben Stokes really hung in there to allow himself to go and get the platform to, go and expand the next day. It's exactly the way to play Test match cricket. It's a tough game, Test cricket, and it's a long game that allows you to fight through difficult circumstances. And at Headingley in a few days' time, if the clouds are around, we know what'll happen. It'll move around, and you'll have to know where your off-stop is. You have to leave a ball or two. You can't just throw your hands at the ball. So they've got to understand that's the way to play the cricket, but it's a long way to come back from this performance.
Thanks, Michael. We'll catch you, of course, at Headingley. Great scenes down here. As you imagine, the celebration of Pakistan. I was talking to Mickey Arthur in a moment, their coach. You'll be hearing that during the course of the day on 5 Live as well. Mohammad Abbas, quite rightly, man of the match. He's got his medal there and is posing for photographs, and lots of Pakistan supporters are having a good time. So that's where we're going to say goodbye to you from a sunny, warm Lords, but, England collapsing, rolled away today. They lost their last 4 wickets in just 25 balls, and Pakistan winning by 9 wickets. That first Test match. You can watch the highlights on the cricket section of the BBC Sport website and the app, and our pint-sized review available shortly. More reaction with Eleanor Aldroyd on 5 Live Sport now. That's live from Lords, Tuffers and Vaughan on 5 Live, and of course we'll be back on air for that second Test match on Friday at 10:25. So until then, from all of us here at Lords, rather prematurely, we'll say goodbye.
I'm not going to go over Sandpaper Gate and all that sort of stuff and what happened in the winter, but clearly because of that, there's been a kind of a slight change in. Well, there's been a regime change in terms of personnel with Darren Liam going out, and Justin Langer coming in. But is there a feeling in Australia that we're at a bit of a new start?
I think so. Yeah. Anytime you hit such a controversial situation, it was a real reality check for a lot of people within the organisation, players and staff, and I think that on the back of all of that, they've decided that there needs to be some drastic changes made, and I think that what we will see is a rather different approach going forward, and something that I think a lot of there's a lot of concerns within the Australian cricket public that we might not be as competitive as what we'd like, but certainly from the point of view of Cricket Australia and the players within the Australian cricket family, we want to see an Australian side that is competitive but goes about it the right way as well. So we're really keen as a playing group within Australian cricket that we come out, we turn this around and rebuild that relationship, not just with our own fans, but the international cricket fraternity as well.
Welcome to listeners on 5 Live Sports Extra. I'm Frank Watson, and I'm alongside Australian Callum Ferguson, who's Worcestershire's new overseas signing. Going back to that, so
the players who are playing first-class cricket in Australia, whether it be, you know, for South Australia or Queensland or whatever, do you think collectively they've looked at that situation and thought, you know, we can be part of something new and something fresh and something slightly lighter maybe than what's gone in the last 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, I think, you know, from what I understand, you know, players from other countries have viewed us as quite abrasive and perhaps, you know, there's been a lot of chat about the Australian team going too far and you know, riding the line, so to speak. You know, perhaps it was a line that our Australian cricket team thought they were riding, but that line was actually past the line of other teams around the world. So well, not perhaps, it has been a reality check for every cricketer in Australia, and I think that we want to be a part of rebuilding that reputation of playing in the right spirit. You know, it was something that Richie Benaud was, you know, hugely about when he was leading the Australian team way back in the day, and certainly, you know, Steve Waugh, when he and Alan Border were leading Australia to a really successful period, play hard but in the right spirit. You know, that's, I think Justin Langer is going to be big on that. He's going to be huge on that, and it's going to be a bit of a process to try and rebuild our reputation amongst the international cricket fraternity. But it's certainly something that you'll see an instant reaction from the Australian team. I think Tim Paine's the right guy at the helm. Having played a lot of cricket with him and against him, I think he's a hard competitor, but does it in the right manner. And I think, you know, knowing him, he's an intelligent individual. He'll lead the side in a way that, you know, I think the fans of Australian cricket will be proud of, and I think that hopefully the international cricket fraternity will be accepting of.
That's great to hear. I think certainly all fans of England and Australia are hoping that the next Ashes series is brilliantly competitive, but also, you know, brings out that true spirit of cricket. It's almost, we often think, I think, possibly because we won in 2005, but that iconic picture of Flintoff with Brett Lee, you know, where they're shaking hands. Well, the players are off the field here at New Road with thunder and lightning around the ground, although we haven't actually had any rain, but it's been a tremendous morning's cricket. Lancashire put into bat 175 for 5 off 31 overs. Stephen Croft is on 12 and Jordan Clark is on 3. The morning's 2 innings that of note really were those by Liam Livingstone, who made 67, and Carl Brown, who made 48. But Worcestershire will be well pleased with their work too. Ed Barnard picked up a couple of wickets, as has Josh Tongue, and Lancashire, having been put into bat after 31 overs, 175 for 5. Well, just to wrap up our conversation, Callum, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I wish you all the best in your career with Worcestershire, and yeah, great to hear you say what you've just said about you know, the potential for a kind of, I just feel it's like a lightening of the mood really regarding Australia, because it all just got a bit unpleasant in the winter for everybody concerned, I think, and I think those people that love the game rather than, you know, any particular country or a county or state or whatever, just don't want to see that kind of mood around the game really. And as I say, we'll be hoping that the next Ashes series is maybe the one that we can look at and think that's when we started to get it all right again, really. Yeah, and I think that moment that you mentioned with Flintoff and Lee, you know, I think that's almost the roadmap, that series. I think whilst it wasn't the most successful for the Australian team, it was a highly competitive series, a really close series, and if we get something of that nature again, both, you know, with the way it's played, but then also the competitiveness and the closeness of the series, it'll really go a long way to healing, I think. Great. Thank you very much, Callum, for joining us. That's Callum Ferguson, Worcestershire's latest overseas player, who will be making his debut against Leicestershire on Tuesday. We're going to be off air now very briefly, or well, I hope it's very briefly, until the players return with Lancashire 175 for 5 off 31 overs.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Callum. Yeah, really enjoyable listening to that for in the last half an hour. Just to recap what's happening elsewhere, we've got listeners on 5 Live Sports Extra who have joined us since the end of the Test match at Lords. Or actually, I think we're off for safe safety reasons. Because of a bit of thunder and lightning around Worcestershire. There was a crack of thunder and a flash of lightning about 5 or 10 minutes ago, and as a result of that, the umpires quickly got together, had a conversation, and decided that it was best to take the players off for safety reasons. So the cover is on to protect the pitch and extra sheets to protect the bowler's run-up. But I don't actually think it is raining